And we are now live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sundays with Craven live podcast episode 43. We are in for a good one tonight, a treat. It's been a long time coming. I can't wait to speak to this evening's special guest. So before we begin, in tradition, I would like to say a very warm welcome and a shout out to people who are in the chat from the start. I can see 30 of you in already. That's great to see. Thank you so much. Let's say hello to who's in. Who's in first this evening? Let's have a good look. It was Benson who put first. Well done, mate. Thank you for being here. Bullion on a budget. Good to see you. East End Dave, oi oi, Brits and Sobs. Good to see you, mate. Thank you so much. Nerd UK, who says, hey up, kids. Thank you so much for being here. Davinia Robbins, as always, thank you so much. Who else do we have? Lots of people saying hello. Shiny Silver, good to see you. Thank you so much. Glass Velo Bullion, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Crispy Shiny Things, good to see you. Investable Collectibles, good to see you. Thank you for being here. David James Flood, thank you so much. Who else have we got? Let's have a look through these names. Silver Stag Stacker, always here. Thank you so much for being here, bud. Really appreciate it. I Stack Gold, thank you for being here. Says good evening all. Silver Serpents from across the pond. Good to see you as always. My better half, guys, Miss Stacking with Craven, who made sure I got through the World Cup sweepstake draw with no issues, is here. Thank you so much. Always supporting. Really appreciate it. And I can see already Jokers has rejoined as a YouTube member to my channel, Craven's Crackers Club. Thank you so much, Jokers. Really appreciate that, mate. And once again, well done on winning my first members only giveaway. You won a beautiful 1/100th ounce Germania Mint Gold bar. So I've seen you've got that. Well done once again. Thank you for being here. Who else have we got? Plenty of names. I love to see it. 40 of you in from the start. It's going to be good tonight, honestly. And yeah, all I can ask is if you do enjoy these weekly lives, hit the like button for us. I really do appreciate the support, and it shows me that you enjoy the weekly lives. Jumping into Silver. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, mate. Any more for any more? Yeah, we've got a star-studded audience this evening. The Coin Cutter is in the house. Thank you so much for being here, mate. Really do appreciate it. Last couple, guys, and then we will move on to the show because I can't wait any longer. Who else we got? Jamie Frost, the man from Japan. I was recently talking to him about a special Japanese dish, and oh boy, it looks good, some of that Japanese food. Maybe we'll see that on your channel soon, Jamie. Thank you for being here. God knows what time it is for you in Japan right now, but I love the commitment. Thank you so, so much. Okay, see if there's anyone I've missed. A lot of you guys are saying hello to each other, which I love. If I do miss anyone, I do apologize. It's not intentional. We will keep an eye on the chat throughout this evening as we have a good old chinwag with TSC, the Stack Collector. Northeast Clients, thank you so much for being here. Barra Bada Bada, one of the best names that I see. Thank you so much. Stacker Dan, Robot Toaster. Anyone else? Anyone else? I can't see any more right now, guys. I may have missed a few. Chat's very active. Thank you so much. It's 3 a.m. for you, Jamie. Wow, the dedication. Thank you. So, without further ado, I've been waffling for 3 minutes, 37 seconds, and that is simply too long because it's time to bring in this week's special guest. And I think the last time that we had this gentleman on this show was in the first couple of episodes that we ever did. So, let's bring him in. And, oh, what's this? There we go. Let's bring him in right now. TSC, the Stack Collector, one of the co-founders of Stackers Social. How are you doing, mate? Thank you for being here again.
Thank you for having me. I'm very well, thank you very much. And a massive hello to everybody up there in the chat. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. It's brilliant to be here. And yes, you're right. I think I was the first guest on the channel. And then I think I came on again in the first few weeks. But since then, it's, you know, it's been too long, hasn't it? So thank you very much for having me back, and it's great to be here.
Absolute pleasure, mate. I really do appreciate you being here. I can see the first thing in the comments, people saying that you look dapper. The beard game is strong. I literally said this off air, guys, to TSC. I said, how do you do it, mate? It's a Sunday day evening. Most people are in their pajamas, comfortable. Look at TSC. No chance. He is looking dapper. Looks like you're preparing for a Peaky Blinders audition, mate. It's good to see.
I was wearing these way before Peaky Blinders.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they copied you, right? They copied you.
They did, absolutely, absolutely.
The flat.
I used to get it. No, when the show first came out, everyone used to turn around and say, "Oh, you like Peaky Blinders?" And I've never watched it. No, never seen it. So no, but yeah.
Have you watched it since?
Bits, little bits. So I've got a friend who watches it, and I've caught a few pieces when I've been around at his house, but I've never like sat and watched a full episode.
Okay. Well, I do recommend it. They did bring a film out not too long ago, which I didn't rate that highly, but the actual series, the original series, I would highly recommend. And I can see mentions here in the chat about said puppy. I think this is going to be quite a popular one. I'll quickly say a quick hello and thank you to Glass Velo, who has become a member of the channel. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate your support. But yes, Canute is all over the chat. I think you said before, Canute is sleeping at the moment, but I think it's the first thing we need to address here, guys. Can we see Canute, TNC?
Come on, come on. It's just waking up, guys. Come on. Oh. Come on, buddy. Come on. That's it. Good lad. Come on. There we go. Good lad. Good lad.
Oh.
Say hello to the people. Hello.
Honestly. Now, Canute is their name, but that's not their full name. When you sent me their full name, I was seriously impressed. Could you confirm the full name of Canute from start to finish?
Canute, Beowulf, Bloodaxe, Pistrucci, Fowler III. Oh yeah.
Wow. Yes. And just on this, what made you decide on that name? I am curious. There is a Viking theme in there as well.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Viking theme, but I decided Canute. And then we had a bit of a poll on one of my live streams on Saturday nights, and I think Beowulf was one of the highest picks, and then Bloodaxe came up. I think it was Ian Atterbury who suggested Fowler. Somebody in the chat, I can't remember who suggested Pistrucci, and I thought, why not go with all of them? And then added the third. He's not the third of that name. The third is part of his name.
Okay, yeah. The third. It's honestly, I love that. It's amazing. And with obviously dogs, they have like their official kennel name, don't they? That's like on the documents. Is that the one that's on all the documents?
It will be, yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. That's amazing. I love that. I really do. There is a question here which I'd like to clarify. This is from Davinia, mate, who just says, "Is Canute a Jack Russell?"
No, it's not. It's not, but you're not far off, to be fair. He's what's known as a Lhasa Jack, which is half Jack Russell and half Lhasa Apso. So his mother was a Lhasa Apso and his daddy was a Lhasa Jack. And I was very lucky because I much prefer the look of a Jack Russell than I do with a Lhasa Apso, which have got a bit longer hair. And he came out looking a bit more Jack Russell than Lhasa Apso, which I think is a good thing. So, yeah.
Oh, good to see how happy he is enjoying that ear massage. That's amazing. I can see a question from Crispy saying, "Where's Hovis?" I haven't got Hovis this evening. He's not with me, and thank God, to be honest, because he does get a bit restless when I'm live for a couple of hours. He likes to have constant attention, a bit like Canute there, as we can see. So hopefully Canute's in a sleepy mood for the next hour and a half, 2 hours or so, mate. And yeah, thank you for showing Canute to us all. So I have got quite a few questions for you, mate, because as we said, it's been a while since we've spoken on a live. You were the first guest on Sundays with Craven when this first launched, which was exclusively in Stacker Social at that point. And before that, I think I came on the Saturday Stack Chat with you the once, which was really good. Yeah. And I unboxed a mystery £100 bundle from you, which was really fun as well. I was still learning what the hell all those coins were at that point, so you had to help me out. But I would like to ask, what's gone on since? Like, what's TSC been up to? I know, obviously, you are what it says on the tin. You are a collector of fine things. You do love the numismatic side. You do stack silver and gold, but I see you more as a collector. You like the really nice stuff. Obviously, you've got your weekly lives. You also have auctions on a Monday. You've now got a new puppy. You're a really busy guy. What's been going on? What's new with TSC?
Well, everything you've said and so much more. So, yeah, the regular Saturday night live streams, 7 p.m. over on YouTube. I can't remember what we're on to now. I think it's something like 129, something like that. I can't remember. I think it is. But yeah, so there you go. Every Saturday when I'm live, 6 p.m. every Monday over on Whatnot. That's where I sell mostly silver coins, but there's a few other pieces. There's numismatics, there's bullion, there's copper collectibles, fractional gold. I like to keep it as varied and diverse as I possibly can. I've been trying to do videos. I have not had any chance to do videos. I've had a couple come out recently. I've been halfway through making the last one for the last month, partially because of its little thing here. But I'll do the videos as and when I can. I think I've stopped putting too much pressure on myself on that. I said just get them out when you can, and that's all you can do really. So the summer months are coming on. I'm a qualified tree surgeon and landscape gardener as well. So that's starting to pick up a little bit now. I had Canute come on, and just recently I've tried to get back into fishing, which is something I used to love and haven't done for probably a couple of years now, probably from around about the same time as I started doing the live streams, because I used to like going fishing on a Saturday night. So you know, that got put to bed, and then my stuff just got buried in the garage through the house move, and it's just taking me so long to sort things out and get it accessible, which is why I'm decorating, which is why you can see the door frame looks so absolutely fantastic, and the walls of that beautiful mint green colour that everyone loves so much. So I don't know why anyone thought that was a good idea to paint a wall that colour, but it will be a different colour soon. I know that much, but yeah, so a lot going on.
Yeah, I actually quite like that green. I will just quickly say on that. I think it's quite nice, but I guess you're going to change it, right?
Yeah, definitely. You probably wouldn't like it as much if you saw it in the flesh, because it's a really horrible, like really pale green, and it's just not nice. So yeah, that's got to go.
No, fair enough. I'm sure what you do, you'll make it look really, really nice. There is something I would like to say, mate. Obviously, with the whole community, you are one of the co-founders of Stacker Social, and I would just like to say congratulations to Stacker Social, who have just hit 5,000 members. Massive achievement for the community, for the Discord group. Obviously, you're very much a part of from the start. So well done. That really is an amazing achievement to get to that point, and who knows where it will continue to go to from here.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Onwards and upwards is what I'm saying. I think, it keeps growing because it's such a fantastic thing that, to me, that's what it is about Stacker Social. If you ask me, it's a great place for people to go and hang out who are into the same kind of thing. Because let's be honest, like, stacking and coin collecting, it's not the most popular of hobbies. You've probably not got a load of your mates that you can talk to about it, that are into the same kind of thing. And if people aren't into it, they can, they'll be interested to a point, and then they'll pretend to be interested to a point, and then they'll just shut off, and they'll be like, oh, he's talking about coins again. And that'll be that, But having somewhere where you can go and talk to people that are also interested in that kind of thing, it's fantastic on that respect. And then there's other aspects like the marketplace there, which we don't charge any fees whatsoever. So people get to sell silver with zero commission, zero fees, nothing to pay to us, which means they can put the prices down a little bit compared to other platforms. I sell on Whatnot, and I can tell you, the fees that I have to pay do put the prices up a little bit. Obviously, I could sell things a little bit cheaper if I weren't having to pay 10% to Whatnot on top of everything I take on there, you know what I mean? So that in alone means there's fantastic bargains and deals. We do ask that people are active members before they can sell in the marketplace, and that's just for security reasons, because you don't want just anyone being able to create an account, go on straight on there, put a few photos of some sovs they've pulled off the internet, take a load of people's money, and then just ghost. You know what I mean? So we do make sure people are there, interacting and socializing with the community before they have access to that. But it doesn't take too long, and it's a great asset. So thank you very much for that, and thank you so much to all the 5,001, I believe it was, just before we went live, members out there. And it's just an amazing achievement, and as I say, I just can't wait to see it hit 10,000 next.
Yeah, well said, mate. And I can back what you said there, especially about the marketplace. It's been a really handy tool to have when I've looked to liquidate different parts of my stack at different points. Even my goals have changed. So I just wanted the bullion, or the I guess junk silver, a lot of people call it, compared to the collectible pieces.
Stop it. Don't call it junk silver. There's no such thing as junk silver.
I don't really ever call it that, you know, pre-decimal, constitutional. It's not junk, but it's referred to as junk silver. But I know, and certainly
not round here, it's not.
It is not junk. I personally love it. I mean, God, I've literally got a 1935 Rocking Horse crown staring at me here on my desk, mate. I love the stuff, and I know you appreciate that coin, and that's definitely
never heard of it. What can you tell me about that coin? I've never heard of that coin.
You're a terrible liar. You could tell us the history of that coin in 10 seconds, so don't lie. But yeah, no, once again, well done, Stacker Social, mate. That's a fantastic achievement that's happened. Now, you know, I want to move on to, firstly, yes, the shiny stuff that we all know and love that brings us all together. The silver, the gold, the collectibles, the stacking. You're more of a collector than a stacker, from what I've seen. Would you agree with that, firstly?
Yeah, probably just more of a collector than a stacker, but I am, you know, I do stack, and I do have silver that I buy to stack rather than collectible pieces. But I have always said I lean a little bit more to the collector than I do the stacker, for sure.
Yeah, I think it would be fair to say that within most of us TSC, when it comes to this, we're kind of a mixture of both. We all have that collector in us, where optimizing every purchase for value in terms of what we're paying and the value of the metal we're getting goes out the window sometimes when one particular piece is just so nice you've got to get it for whatever your personal reasons are. And I think that relates to a lot of us, and that's absolutely great. It keeps it fun, right?
It does, and it does relate to a lot of people, but it doesn't relate to everybody. There are some hardcore stackers out there, and there's some hardcore collectors out there. They do exist, but I do agree that a lot of people, if not the majority, do at least teeter over the edge a little bit. And like you say, it's so difficult to be a weight stacker when there's so many fantastically beautiful pieces out there that are just going to tempt you away, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I don't know if I know any weight stackers that don't own at least a little bit of collectible silver or gold in the stacks. You know what I mean?
Or they might not admit to it. they might
but it's fair. It's fair.
It's there, you know. The hardcore people I respect, because a stacker, as far as I'm aware, TSC, and you'll probably have a better understanding than me, respectfully, a stacker is purely, I want the metal. For example, if you're a silver stacker, you want as much silver as you can get for as close or at spot, if not below spot, as possible. But it doesn't matter what form it comes in most cases. For example, a local dealer that I go to, Gary at the Coin Exchange, people who are hardcore stackers per se have gone to him and said, have you got any sterling cutlery or like the teapots and stuff? And they will literally buy that or anything just because it's silver and it's like it's spot price, if not lower. You know, they'll buy anything they can get their hands on. Doesn't have to be your Britannias or like you will know very well, your crowns and your florins and stuff. You know, you're certainly not going to get a Gothic florin for spot price these days, are you?
Good luck to you. Good luck to you on that one. I mean, that was me. I started off doing that kind of thing, like trinkets, antiques, jewelry, that kind of thing. And the reason I got into it is because I've spoken about it on my channel a few times. I used to do a Sunday market store myself. I used to buy a job lot of house clearances and go through it and just get rid of the crap and, you know, anything I can fix or clean up, and that was half decent, I'd put on the Sunday market, and I'd always have a walk around and look at the other stores, and you know, I found out pretty quickly that a lot of people didn't know what they had, and they could be selling something, hadn't noticed a hallmark on it, or didn't know what to look for with a hallmark, and you could, you know, going around your car boot, picking up little trinkets and knickknacks can be one of the best ways to get silver way below spot. So that's how I got into it to start off with, and then I'd always been a coin collector anyway, so I'd always had silver on that side of things. And then I finally got into the bullion last off, and you know, I ever since then I've not looked back. I've got plenty of bullion. I keep buying bullion because to me it kind of crosses two loves of a love of silver and a love of coins. As I say, I started off not getting the coins, just getting the silver, and then doing the coins, and then bullion kind of merged the two perfectly for me. But you're absolutely right. There's a hell of a lot of people out there that, they'll trade in any manner of silver whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure. And I've seen that more and more it's over a year now. Last April, the 1st of April, April Fool's Day is when I got my first ever precious metal. It was just like many, it was a 1 ounce silver Britannia. It was a 2025. That was what started my stacking journey, collecting journey. And I haven't looked back, and I can't believe where all the time has gone. Now, TSA, I'm curious, as someone that's been doing this for a lot longer than I have, when we talk about precious metals, stacking, investing, collecting, however you want to look at it, there's usually a kind of a strategy that for most people of how they approach. Do they just buy consistently and they have a set budget? Do they go deeper? And sometimes that comes from a conversation about the spot price and the changes when people think, oh, look at the gold to silver ratio. Look what's changed there. It is now a good buying opportunity. And the reason I'm bringing this into conversation is because I want to ask you, as someone that's been in this for a while, you've got obviously bullion that you're into now as well as your coin collection. Has the sort of fluctuations in the silver and gold markets affected your strategy at all? Because as we know, towards the back end of last year and the start of this year, we saw silver, for example, hit like 86 British pounds an ounce. I don't know what that was in dollars. Sorry to the American audience, but I'm sure you'll remember. And gold, the same. It went quite high. Now it's dropped to 3,250 quid an ounce for gold. And silver, we spoke about this before we went live, mate, is £51 per ounce for silver right now. So has your strategy changed in terms of what you're buying because of that? And if we look at this, is now a good buying time? Or is it silver and gold just doing what they always do and you're not bothered?
I think now's a great buying time, to be honest with you. I mean, silver's low, gold's low. Buy low, sell high. Somebody shared a meme on one of my live streams a little while ago, and it made me laugh, but it's completely true because it had silver under spot on the left side with a queue with literally nobody on it. And then it had silver at £100 an ounce on the other side, and everyone's queuing up for it. It's like when the prices go up, it gets really popular, it gets really hyped up, and everyone gets into it. And then when the prices come back down, everyone kind of disperses and be like, "Oh, I'm not bothered about it anymore." But that's the time to buy it. You want to buy it when it's low. And one thing you always see, you do generally tend to see a dip in the precious metal market throughout the summer. I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, and it doesn't surprise me to see the prices dip a little bit this time of year, and then you generally tend to see them go up again at the end of the year towards Christmas time, New Year, that kind of thing. There's a multitude of reasons behind that. Some of the biggest reasons are people are generally not looking so much at investing money right now. They're spending money, things like holidays and things like that, whereas they'd be using that money to buy a bit of bullion. Now they're paying for holiday, and holidays cost thousands of pounds, as we know. You know what I mean? So things like that, even if it's not a holiday, going out in the daytime because the weather's nice, you're going out to a local site, going to a theme park, going to a park or whatever. And even if you just go into a park, you're buying a bit of food out there rather than just cooking something at home. So spending trends this time of year generally tend to see the price go down a bit. There's other things as well, but then again, at the end of year, people aren't going out as much. Tend to have more money to invest, and then you've got to compound upon that people buying gifts at that time of year. There's a lot of gift buying for various different holidays, not just Christmas. There's a lot of gold or precious metals bought and sold through Hanukkah, which is a Jewish festival, and other festivals around the world. So you do tend to see that a lot. I think gold for me, and one thing to remember for me, gold is still very high. I was buying bullion when it was at £18 an ounce, so it's at £51 an ounce. And yes, when you look at it in perspective of it was at near enough 90 quid towards the end of January. And now it's 51. It sounds really bad, but when you widen the view a little bit and you start going back a bit further and you look back to the where it's been in the past, and you think, well, actually, it's still doing very well right now, and I think it will continue to do well. I think precious metals, especially physical precious metals, should always be done as a long-term investment anyway. You shouldn't really be looked at as a quick flip. I can tell you how difficult that is, because I do that side of things on a Monday, and being able to find things that you can sell at a price where you've got platform fees, and to make a little bit of profit for yourself can be really, really difficult. But if you hold on to stuff and let the prices naturally go up over time, that is the way to do it, and that's the way people should be looking at physical precious metals. I was going to say earlier, when you brought up stacking and people being hardcore stackers, I think it's important to remember that stacking in itself has changed a lot, very much over recent years. If you start looking, because obviously people have been stacking for forever. Gold and silver's always been the real money, you know what I mean? But if you go back to like the 50s, 60s, 70s, people weren't buying, cucumbers. We weren't buying all these different lovely pieces, dragon bars, Scottsdale pieces, Germanium mint pieces. We weren't buying any of that. There was none of that. There was just pretty much basic bars. You had your sovereigns and a few coins. You had your crown coins, things like that. But you bought the silver for the silver, and you bought the gold for the gold. Nowadays, stacking in itself is, whether or not people like this or not, it's being forced into much more of a collector's game nowadays. If you look at what's being released in the bullion market, the amount of time and efforts that's been put into producing these designs, these high relief pieces, these really nice collectible pieces of bullion, it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think part of that is because that's kind of what people want. They want that diversity. They want really nice pieces that they can pick up every now and again and look at and think, oh God, you are beautiful. You know what I mean? So it has changed a lot, and I think we will continue to see it change a lot. But going back to the spot prices and that kind of thing, it doesn't concern me, and it hasn't really changed my buying pattern either, because I've always just been really sporadic with my buying. I think I started off, and my initial plan was one ounce a month, one ounce of silver bullion a month, and that was going to do me. And I was just going to let it stack up over time, and eventually I would have this little nest egg of silver bullion, and that went out the window quicker than who knows what. So for a few years ago, I was concentrating really hard on bullion, because I didn't have much of that, and I had the pre-decimal. So near enough, I think I went a whole year without buying any pre-decimal whatsoever, and I was just buying bullion. And then after that, I got a good amount of bullion. Because I always say to people, best way to do it is think of a number that you want your base stack to be, whether that's 50 ounces, 100 ounces, 500 ounces, whatever you want to do, and then buy whatever you can as cheap as you can. And also buy some stuff that you just don't like you think's ugly, and you just really don't like the design, because when it comes to down the line and you do want to liquidate some of your stuff, you're going to find it a lot easier to sell that than you have this piece that you just absolutely love, and it's like, well, but I love you too much, I don't want to sell you. So yeah, I think it's a long game, but I've gone now recently, I've gone back to pre-decimal, but I've upped the kind of things that I'm buying, and I think people who's followed my channel will know what I mean. I've started buying things like trade dollars, the 1902 matte proof Coronation Edward for 7 crown. I've now got 2 reef crowns in my collection, very nice condition on them as well. So I'm looking at kind of historic pieces, but a little bit more premium historic pieces, and that's what I'm kind of looking at the moment. But I'll get a few of them, and then something that I'm a real silver magpie, because I'll be doing that, and then something else will catch me eye. But like, oh, look at that! Like not long ago, it was swords. You know what I mean? It was a silver swords and silver weapons, and they were like my biggest thing, and they were what I wanted to buy. And then all these different mints started really. I mean, I don't mean to be crass, but really farting out the designs. And what started off as 1 or 2 really nice series that you could keep up with fairly well became all these different designs. Some of them got really tacky. Like I own 1 or 2 of them, but I really don't like them when they've got the blood splatters on the blades and stuff like that. It's like I just want it to look like a scaled down version of the actual thing, you know what I mean? So yeah. I kind of went off that, and that's when I went on to the more premium pieces. So yeah, I can't really say my strategy's changed, because I haven't really got a strategy. I just buy what I can afford and what I love, and just let it go up over time. And then eventually what will happen is some of the bits I'll be like, yeah, I liked you at the time, but you know what? You're not that nice. I can sell you. I'm okay selling you. But you guys, you're staying with me for the long run kind of thing. So, yeah.
It's very relatable what you're saying, and I think that's solid advice, mate, because what I can say already, I've mentioned, there's been times where, and I think this is absolutely okay, because this is what we stack for. Sometimes if you look after your stack, when you need a bit of extra cash in an emergency, your stack will look after you. And that's better than going and getting a loan or something else. You've done the hard work. There's nothing wrong with selling 5-10% of your stack if you need to. And I've done that multiple times, just to be transparent. But when I've done that, I've certainly learned, like TSC said, it's easier to sell. There's a pot of stuff that I have no emotional attachment to. But then there's a few stuff like, for example, if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know I do not want to sell my Little John coin. Some people will laugh at that, but I absolutely love it. And it's got, it's got sentimental value to it. And of course, other more premium coins and stuff. So I'm very happy to sell Britannias, but other stuff, not so much. Now, I find it really interesting what you've said there, TSC, and there's obviously a variety in your overall collection with the pre-decimal stuff, numismatical. You could look at them as the value in that is numismatic, and it can be subjective depending on the collector. The question I would ask with that, and this is for the audience listening, maybe people that just solely look at bullion. If somebody wants to stack silver, and they're thinking, well, okay, I could buy some pre-decimal pieces, which I think is extremely good value if you find the right price. You know, if you're not worried about buying the best condition, you're solely doing it for the silver as a stack of wood. But then if you look at bullion, people say, oh, buy your Britannias, capital gains tax exempt. Out of those two for a stacker, what are your thoughts on that as to what is the best value? Because I think it's healthy to have a bit of both, personally. I think bullion will always be very easy to liquidate, being one reason. You might pay a little bit more, especially in this country where, of course, the premiums and naturally the tax, you guys in the US get it a bit easier than what we do. But what would your thoughts be on that? The difference between stacking numismatic pre-decimal pieces compared to, your general bullion?
Well, which one? If you ask me which one would be better, it would be very difficult to say. And you've got to look at them very differently. So, like you said, the bullion, it's kind of more premium the bullion is, and a lot of the time you can get the pre-decimal stuff at or a little bit below spot. I'm always, every single week, I've got quite a few bits that go under spot every single week on the pre-decimal stuff. I would say if you're looking to stack pre-decimal, my tip would be to stack crowns, to buy the full solid crowns, for a few reasons for that. One, a lot of the time you can get them a decent price. They can be very premium when you got to start looking at the nicer detail, still have good detail in the lower mintage years, but they can be fairly decently premium, especially compared to bullion. But they still are pretty much as popular as the bullion coins are. There's so many people out there that like the silver crowns, you know, and there's stackers, there's collectors, so they're extremely liquidable, whatever the word is. But they're also CGT exempt. I don't know what the word is either. But they're also CGT exempt, which is another fantastic thing as well. Bullion, you can liquidate that very easily as well. But the thing with bullion is, what I've tended to notice, when you look at the new stuff, it's all got that premium on it. You know, there's, you know what I mean? A lot of the times, it might not hold that premium, and a lot of the designs go under the rug, and they're forgotten about, and people don't care about them anymore. It's like the Star Wars coins that Royal Mint did. There was a bit of a buzz about them before they did them. People were thinking, but it's Star Wars, these are going to be massive. And I was one of them. And I think one of the mistakes a lot of people can make a lot of the times is you look at the Venn diagram and look at the Star Wars coins, for an example. You look at the Venn diagram, you think you've got all these Star Wars fans, and you've got all these coin collectors, and it's going to appeal to all of them. So this is going to be fantastic. But the reality of it is, it doesn't. It actually really appeals to the people in the middle, that are the coin collectors that like Star Wars. Because the people who really like Star Wars, what they really want are reproduction lightsabers, or minimum mintage figurines and props from the actual movies and stuff like that. We're not really so bothered about coins. And the coin collectors will look at it and think, well, I don't really like Star Wars, so I don't really want that. And I saw a lot of that going off. And look at the coins now; they've kind of gone under been swept under the rug. You know, people weren't massively huge fans of the designs. We've got some fans out there, of course, but they weren't the next big thing in coins, were they? You know what I mean?
They were underwhelming.
I think
very underwhelming. If I'm being honest, I just don't fit. Even as someone I probably wouldn't go out of my way to buy Star Wars stuff. But as a collector, but I actually thought the designs were a bit underwhelming personally, and I'm not the only one that's maybe voiced that. Even Star Wars fans have said that, who collect coins in the first place. So maybe that was, I don't know. Maybe they could have done better with the designs. I don't know.
They definitely could have done better with the designs. I don't. The only one I actually like is the R2D2 C3PO one in silver proof. And that's because you've got the gold gilded C3PO against the silver proof background of the coin. And I think, the justification between the gold and silver, I think looks absolutely nice. But I don't think they were great design coins. I really don't. I think they could have done a much better job with them. And I think one of the things I see nowadays with a lot of these collectible pieces is it's not really a fantastic design. We've just got basically just stuck a picture onto a coin, especially with the colorized stuff. You know what I mean? It's a lot of the time it just looks like someone's whacked a picture on a coin, and that's that. And I think that's a lot of that is the kind of stuff that might have a lot of the premium right now, but in years to come might be somebody saying, "I'll give you scrap for it," kind of thing, give you spot for it. You know what I mean? So I think in bullion there's a lot of things to be wary of. One of the things about pre-decimal is it's tried and tested. Crowns have always been popular. They'll remain to be popular, and they'll just get rarer and rarer. And I think things like that, half crowns will do particularly well. I think any kind of 925 pre-decimal, I think, will always do pretty well. 925 pre-decimal is by far the most popular, and then in that, shillings are very popular, and I think shillings are very popular because they're a nice middle ground of it's not the tiniest coin on the planet, but they're quite affordable. They're not the biggest coin either, and it's affordable. So you've got a very, very low barrier of entry to that. The crowns, I think, would be a lot more popular if they, weren't such a good old chunk of a coin, because it is a 1 ounce of what a par ounce. But it's popular, and it's going to remain popular. The 500 isn't so popular. You'll tend to find the people who buy 500 are your date runners. So people like me who want one of every year of every coin, which was quite a lot of them out there, because it's fun. It's a lot of fun doing a date run. It adds a bit of a challenge to it. You know what I mean? And the other people that buy 500 are your real hardcore weight stackers, and they want to buy it in bulk and they want to buy it under spot. But pre-decimal, I think if you're paying the right, but this goes across both bullion and pre-decimal. If you pay the right money, you can't go wrong. It's how much you pay for it when you get it and what happens to the spot price afterwards. There's always going to be that uncertainty. And then the other area I delve into, which is semi-popular, and I think it's gaining more and more popularity, is world silver. So it's not bullion, it's basically foreign versions of our pre-decimal. So you mentioned constitutional silver earlier. You've got the Canadian silver, the Australian silver, basically all the different European countries' silver. I know you've got some very nice pre-British Empire South African silver for me back here in the auctions, didn't you, back in the day? So there's some really, and that's, to be honest with you, that's some of my most fun, because there's some really, I've got one right here, which is a Portuguese coin, and it's just got a load of ships on it. See if I can, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
So you've got some really, really interesting designs, and I mean really interesting designs. Shiny will tell you there's one coin I've got. It's a Rhodesian sixpence, and it's got an absolutely fantastic design on it. These crossed axes on it, and when Shiny was like, "Where's that from?" And it's like, it's a Rhodesian coin, but there's so much variety to it, and a lot of times you can get it for a really, really good price. It's not about making wealth, but holding wealth. It depends. It depends on how you're looking at it. You know, if there are people out there that do buy and sell based on the numismatic value, you know, and that is more about making money. And I will be honest, that's kind of what I'm looking to do on a Monday. But then is right, you know, there's people are holding wealth and securing your wealth against inflation. I think silver and gold will always beat inflation. And I think silver, particularly, and this is going back on leaving the collecting side of things, going more onto the stacking side of things. I think silver is a very hot investment right now. Personally, I think silver's undervalued. I think it's undervalued right now. I think it's being manipulated to be kept low. And I think over time, if you look at 5 to 10 years, due to the increased use in industry that we're seeing, and I believe we will continue to see, I think we can see some pretty high numbers go next to silver over the years to come.
That's something I would like to ask you on shortly, mate, as we all like these conversations where we have some sort of level of prediction. We always get different answers from different guests. I do want to quickly say I shared it on screen. Thank you so much, Mr. E. £2 super chat. Really appreciate it. You're always here supporting me. That's very, very kind. And I did see that comment. It's not about making wealth, but holding wealth. I think the message within that, it's like TSC was explaining before. We can have these conversations of different approaches, but with the metals, really, it's a long-term game. This you're accumulating what you can, ideally at the best value that you can, the best price. If you're a bit more savvy and patient and disciplined as well. And it really is long term. And within that, I mean, I've only been doing this, TSC, since April last year. And already within that short sample size for me as a stacker, I've seen a crazy fluctuation in the market. If you think about that first Britannia I bought April last year, mate, spot price was £23. So I paid probably in the region of £30, including the taxes or whatever, the premiums. It was around that price for a 1 ounce Britannia. And then already, I mean, God, if you would have told me at that point silver would be, you know, you'd be paying maybe £65-70 for a Britannia just a year later, I'm like, wow, is the market going to do that? And that's forgetting how far it actually went when people were buying Britannias for over £100. It's crazy. Now, I do want to get some predictions for you when we sort of get to that point, and that's on silver and gold, because that's always interesting. But there is something I really would like your opinion on, and this is seemingly a very popular topic of conversation in the community, and everyone's got different opinions on it. Some people have really strong opinions. I think it's healthy to have a debate, and more than that, I'd like to hear your honest opinion on it, because that thing is fractional. Not so much with gold, but with silver. And the reason I ask this is quite simply because people have such strong opinions, and that's not just one way or the other. That's on both sides. It's circumstantial. It's different for everyone. So I won't say no more. What is your honest opinion, TSC, on people buying fractional silver? Whatever the reason for that is, what's your thoughts, mate?
I think fractional silver is fantastic, but people need to think about what they're referring to when they say the word fractional silver, because most of what I said is a half crown is fractional silver, a shilling is fractional silver. You know, all these different kind of coins that contain so much, and that's how pre-decimal coinage was made. It was based on the coin weight, you know. So I think 6 shillings is a troy ounce, 5 shillings is a voie de poire ounce, and then they go up in multiples of the weight, etc. So pre-decimal is fractional silver. That is literally what it is, fractional silver, and it's silver that's been made fractionally, so you can spend different amounts at different times for different things, and that kind of stuff, as we've said, can be bought under spot or next to spot. So often you can really build up a chunky old stack by buying that kind of stuff. Now, if you don't like that kind of stuff, buy that kind of stuff to get your weight up, and then when you get to so much, sell that and buy what you want with it, like people do with a silver to gold ratio, you know. Just but it's getting silver in your stack, it's getting your stack up. What do I think of modern day fractional bullion? I think it's a rip-off. I think it's an absolute rip-off. But what I have said is there are a very finite amount of people out there that it might be the best option for, and those are the kind of people that aren't able to buy a full ounce in a month's wage. They haven't got enough money left over, and there are people out there. I've been on very low on money in the past, and I know what it's like where you haven't. It's not that you haven't got enough to buy an ounce left over at the end of the month. You haven't got anything left over at the end of the month. In fact, 3-4 days before the end of the month, you're just praying the petrol in your tank will get you to payday. You know what I mean? And there's a huge amount of people out there like that, and so they'd have to save up quite a bit over time to maybe get an ounce. And it's not, it's not embarrassing. People live like that. I hope people out there don't. I hope people out there don't have to do this and can, buy big large pieces of silver. But if buying a 1/4 ounce Britannia is going to get you a bit of silver that you can add up over time, you're doing something, and something is better than nothing. And then hopefully over time that will teach you, ways to think about your money differently, to act with your money differently, and then maybe over time you can start buying big things and maybe put a bit of money aside. But one thing that a lot of people go through, and this is for a lot of people out there, is you start saving for something and you get so far. Let's say you're saving 100 quid for something and you get to 50 quid, and then something happens in your life. Like something happens, you've got a bill come in, or this, that, and the other, and you think, oh well, I'll just grab it. But what I'll do is instead of putting 10 quid a week, and I'll put 20 quid a week in. You know what I mean? Well, you're struggling to put 10 quid a week in. You're not putting 20 quid a week in. It's not happening. You know what I mean? So I've said it before on my channel. There's a finite person out there, a very specific person out there that maybe fractional silver is the only option for, but my recommendation is look at your pre-decimal and your other forms of fractional silver rather than that kind of stuff, because you'll get it so much more affordably, and you'll be able to stack a decent. You'll have kilos before you know it, and yeah, you might get a little bit under spot when you sell it, but you're buying it for a little bit under spot. And that's another thing about premium pieces, and why I mentioned crowns being such a good coin, because they'll keep their premium. If I buy a premium crown, if I buy a 1902 matte proof Edwardian crown, if I sell that in 3 years' time, do people think I'm selling it for spot? Not a chance, mate. You know what I mean? That coin will have gone up in value by that time. You know what I mean? So, numismatics can be a very good investment. The thing is, to make money on it, like Mr. E was saying, it takes a lot of knowledge. So you need to really know what you're dealing with there. You need to know specific dates. You need to know all that kind of stuff. So you can, when someone's selling a load of coins, a job lot, because they've inherited it off their old man or whatever, and they don't really know what they're doing, and we just see it, and we see, well, go online and we're, all right, so this kind of coin sells for about that much, put it online. We don't know it's a rare mintage, but you know that, so you grab it and you buy it at a good price, and then you sell it at a profit. If you don't want to learn all the different mintages for all the different years and all that different stuff, which most people don't, that's when it becomes more of a security of wealth, because you want to be buying stuff more based on the spot price anyway. Maybe the odd thing, and I know you've got the odd very nice numismatic piece in your collection, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. And I think the pieces you've got in your collection, when you sell them, you will probably get a premium for them as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, the main thing and the most important thing I say is every single person's situation is different, and you have to tailor it to that individual's circumstances. I can't sit here and give everybody a blanket, this is how you stack, this is how it's done, this is how it's not done, because one thing will work for one kind of person, another thing will work for another kind of person.
It's circumstantial, mate.
It is very, very circumstantial. Yeah.
It depends.
And the other thing is, sorry, mate, go.
I was just going to say, it depends on who you're asking and who that person is that's going to invest money is, and what their budget is. And the reason why silver is much more of a talking point when we talk about fractional, why I asked you about silver, is because of the price point and how realistic those price points are on a regular basis for someone who may be looking to start stacking. I think my standpoint on it is this. I think it's very clear that, yes, in terms of value, you're going to be paying high premiums on fractional. It's not as good value for bullion silver as your 1 ounces. That's a fact, but that's okay. That doesn't mean it's still a bad idea. If you can only, I think right now you can probably get, say, a 1/4 ounce Britannia for under 25 quid, okay? Some people might say, oh, don't do that, save up for an ounce. Okay, if you can only afford £25 a week, a month or something, realistic, some people can't, you then have to wait 4 months. So in certain situations, in 4 months, a lot can change. You know,
Most
that money
people won't have that money there in 4 months. It won't be there. It just won't be.
Either spend
4 whole months of
yeah.
life happening and hitting you in the face. It's not going to be there. It's just not going to be there. And that's my point.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, the market could go crazy and you're there waiting to buy it because someone's told you it's better value at 1 ounce. Well, guess what? The market's doubled in 4 months. It could very easily happen. And the other thing is, at least like you said, so true. You've got something to show for it. I could go and spend 25 quid on a pizza and I've got nothing to show for it. It's just an interesting one, but it becomes very different. What I was moving on to when we talk about gold, because of the price point. Fractional gold is increasingly popular. A lot of people are enjoying the 1 gram gold. I think 1 gram gold is fantastic. Yes, you'll get better value the bigger you go, but most people with gold, I made a video on this recently, can't. I think a really nice, realistic sweet spot, which is still expensive. I can't buy one every month. I think the 1/10 golds, Britannia's. I personally think it's not financial advice, but for me, I think they are a great option. And on a long-term basis, you could look to pick those up as and when. But 1 grams, I certainly don't turn my nose up at them. I think they're great. What are your thoughts on gold? Moving on from the silver, mate.
Well, I've said this for a while. I've said this for years now with your 1 gram golds, because when I first started stacking, you were looking about 50 quid for 1 gram gold. And a lot of people turn their nose out on because of the premium on them. But I think gold is a fantastic example to put a magnifying glass on what we were just talking about at silver, because it makes it a lot more broadly affected to a lot more people. Where there's people out there that you just cannot afford an ounce of gold, and the amount of time it would take for them to save for an ounce of gold is just, it's unrealistic. So I think it's a great example to really point out what we were saying as a concept. When it comes to 1 gram pieces, I think they're fantastic. I think it makes gold affordable. Yes, the premium is really high, but you've got gold in your stack, as opposed to having no gold in your stack. And which one's better? Which one's better? Like the best of intentions to save for a sovereign and a load of nights down the chippy and the pub with your mates, if it's the reality of it, or to have the 1 grammers saving up. And, if it does what it's done again, which I do believe it will do over the next 10 years, if it does what it's done again from when I've started only a few years ago to now, you'll still be laughing because the premiums will ride up as well. If everyone is selling, right, if you bought a Tavex 1 gram gold bar for 50 quid 3 years ago, right, and everyone else is now selling their 1 gram gold bar at 100 quid, and you can't buy a 1 gram gold bar at less than 100 quid, what are you doing? You're selling your Tavex bar at 55 quid so you can make a fair 10% profit on it. No, you're not. You're going to sell it at 100 quid like everyone else. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can still make profit on it. Premium doesn't automatically remove profit, and never potentially does. I mean, if something can't hold a premium, that's when you lose your profit. But if something is proven to hold that premium and is holding that premium solidly across the board, then you can retain that premium when you go to sell that item down the line. So yeah, I mean, to answer the question, I mean, I'm rabbiting now a bit, but to answer the question, yeah, for that reason, I think a gram of gold, yeah, absolutely. You started stacking up, you know what I mean, and a 1 gram bar is an actual gram bar of gold. It's an actual metal bar of gold. You know what I mean? It's not a gold back or anything like that. It's just small, but it's fully metal. You can sigma test it. You can test it. It's a proper gold piece.
Yeah, and I love the 1 grams because I think they're within reach for most people. Okay, not all the time.
Yeah.
Once again, if we're going to be realistic, not everyone, including myself, depending on the month, can just go and spend over 100 quid. I think you're looking maybe 115, 120 for a 1 gram. Might not be perfect on that pricing, but it's just over 100 quid right now for a gram of gold.
Yeah,
you can pay more depending on what brand you go, but generically speaking. And if you build it up over time, you can get nice boxes, store them, and they come in the lovely assay cards. There's that feeling of growth, that feeling of an achievement that you wouldn't necessarily get if you're just waiting to save for a 1 ounce gold. You'll be waiting all year, if not longer. It's nice to see something grow and feel that growth. And once again, at a very fractional level, you're buying into a moving market. So you're not necessarily losing out on opportunities. You won't be stung if you wait all that time and the market changes. You're buying in sort of dollar cost averaging, I suppose, and taking a small hit on the premiums, which long term shouldn't really matter if, like TSC said, you're holding this for at least 10 years. Now, I want to go on, mate. No, go on.
Sorry, mate, I was just going to say, and also don't forget the importance of that. The importance of actually seeing something piling up, you know, because if you're saving up cash, you're seeing nothing, right? But if you start seeing something actually mount up, is actually this idea of me having this little stack of silver is actually becoming a physical, tangible thing, that it compounds your thought process, and it, you know, it makes you want to do it even more. You know what I mean? So you start to becoming even more careful with your money, because you start thinking, well, where else can I save money to start buying more of this stuff? Because I'm loving seeing I've actually got a little stack here. And, you know, it can be very, very important to actually, even if it's just, you know, multiple little items, to actually see progress can be extremely important. Because as many people out there will know, if you're trying to do something and you can't see that you're getting somewhere with it, you'll lose motivation so much quicker than if you can see you're getting on top of something and you're actually starting to get somewhere with it, if you know what I mean.
100%, mate. It's a reminder, and it goes back to why we love physical metals. I know there's digital options out there, assets, stocks, all sorts, but for me, I love being able to hold them and you know, have a look at what I've achieved. Whether or not I've optimized every purchase is irrelevant. I've learned so much, and just being able to hold the stack and watch it grow one coin at a time, whether it's fractional or an ounce or it's a gram of gold, just seeing that growth is a great reminder. And like you said, it motivates you even more to keep going. And early on, when you start stacking, if you don't make the perfect decisions, but you've started, you're doing very well. And usually the best way to learn is through your own mistakes. I think if you start at fractional level, you start to build up some weight. Like TSC said, at some point you are naturally going to think, okay, how can I start getting more value and keep building? I think they're fundamental lessons for people, usually at the start, that set you up long term. If you're serious, you're going to be here for years anyway. So, you know, that those more expensive purchases won't be a worry in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, which leads me on to this, TSC. You sort of alluded to it before, mate. I want to ask you, I want to give you 2 time frames. This might be difficult, the second one, and no one really knows, and it's not advice, but I love this question. What do you think? We'll start with silver. What's your prediction for the spot price of silver, which is currently £51 an ounce right now? Where do you think silver could potentially be by the end of this year? And then also, where do you think it will be in 10 years? Silver first.
70 quid at the end of the year, 200 quid in 10.
Ooh. Yeah, I think that's fair. Could you possibly give some sort of explanation as to maybe more on the 10-year side? Why do you think it will be 200 in 10 years?
Because I'm picking at straws at 10 years, if I'm honest with you. If I'm completely honest, I do think what I'm going on is that I'm looking at how silver's been used in the industry, and I'm seeing industry is only just starting to bloom with electric vehicles and the solar panels and the way we're living our lives and green energy. That is not going anywhere. You know, it is just getting bigger and bigger. And the amount of silver that's being used because of things like green energies, because of things like solar panels, because of things like solid state batteries, because of things like electric vehicles and things like that. We've seen now, I think it's the 6th year in a row that we've seen a structural deficit in silver. And what a structural deficit means is there's not enough silver in existence to cater to demand. It's not because we've put down tools because of spot prices changed. It's not because COVID or lockdowns have stopped people being able to mine silver. It's not because it's because there wasn't enough silver physically to yield demand. And we've seen that now in 6 years in a row now in silver, and the amount of structural deficit goes up every single year as well. It's in the millions of tons now. and I think things are going to continue to go that way. A lot of time in investment, it's important to know that things generally tend to carry on the way we're going. So if something's on an uptrend, it will generally tend to continue on an uptrend, and if something's on a downtrend, it will generally continue to continue on a downtrend. And I think, you know, what we're looking through industry and that kind of thing is on an uptrend, and it's going to continue, and that's going to make silver more and more. It's going to because it's still demand. But what's that, 200, 250, 185, 500? Who knows? It depends on what happens with industry, what happens with innovation. Is something going to come along that really needs silver, and it's going to be the next huge thing, and that's going to blast silver through the roof? Or are we going to be able to synthesize a material that's as conductive as silver for a fraction of a cost, and we will see the value of silver go through the floor, and we'll all be gutted because, you know, our stacks will be worth nothing anymore? Both are potentially possible. What the most likely is that silver's going to continue going up, and, you know, we're going to continue to need to use it more and more as a raw material. That is the most likely option, but they are both possible. And you know, investment is always a risk. There's always a risk factor when you're looking to invest in, but it's the only way you're actually going to beat inflation and not let the tax man and the inflation man win over time. You know, it is what it is. You've got to be in it to win it, and it, you know, mitigate your risks, but there's always going to be a risk there. But that's why I think, you know, that's why I comfortably think 250 in 10 years time. 70 by the end of the year. I think, you know, I think it's being squeezed a little bit right now, and I think there's well, not squeezed, but, you know, I think it's being suppressed a little bit right now. I think there's, you know, the fact that it's summer as well plays a part, and I think, you know, by the end of the year, I think we'll look about £70 an ounce by the end of the year. But we'll see, you know, not too soon on that one. We'll see how well I did.
We will, and I can't wait to see what it does. Either way, just like you said, my strategy or approach is it's not really changing. It's just more about consistency, and just letting the metals build up and not getting too carried away with the hype, with the FOMO that we see. We're all guilty of being a part of to some extent at different points, whether it's a certain piece or not. But just on what you said there, I find really interested about a potential alternative metal that has that conductive ability. None so far are on a par with silver. We know that. That is why it is used in the likes of solar panels. And solar panels, from a commercial demand point of view for the silver that they're buying, is very interesting. Now, from what I've read into this, because I have tried to do more research in the background, they have noticed that the price, when it's going more, it could become a problem. To keep making these solar panels using silver, price is going up, it's becoming a bit harder for them. So they're trying to, like you rightly said, they are trying to find alternative ways that are more cost effective. They have tested with copper. It is not as good. Yeah. And the issue you've got is when people buy solar panels, they normally get like a guarantee, like a warranty, and that could be 20, 30 years. Well, copper, they cannot do that. It's not been tested for that long. And also, copper corrodes. It doesn't do very well in these weather conditions. It's just, I don't see how it's going to work. They can't promise you a solar panel will last even, they can't guarantee you 5 years with copper at this point.
No, but that's what happened. Yeah, it's what I had this exact conversation with Co-Stacker on one of my live streams, I remember, and I was saying the exact same thing as what you said there. It will get to a point, it's basic economics. It will get to a point where it becomes no longer cost viable to use it as raw material. And yes, you have a loss on quality or production, but you maintain costs. And you know, that's just the nature of business. And you know, it exists literally all the time right now. Because you say one thing, I'm going to correct you on very slightly there. You said copper corrodes, inferring silver doesn't. And silver does corrode. It is a tarnishable metal. It's nowhere near as reactive as copper is. It's a lot slower, but it's why when a silver coin comes out of the ground, it's black. and not silver. Now, a gold coin that's been in the ground for 500 years, 1,000 years, comes out of the ground looking gold, because that is a true non-tarnishable metal. So although silver is very slightly more conductive, and gold is still a superconductor, just like silver is. So gold and silver are very, very similar metals. For one thing, they're found at the same places, and gold is a superconductor in itself. But where gold actually shines better than silver is in connectors that are exposed to the elements, because gold doesn't tarnish at all and silver does. So that's why really high-end cables have gold connectors on them, because it won't rust or tarnish at all over time. Your connectivity on that piece of metal will be as good on the final day as it was the first day, which isn't as true as silver and copper. And copper corrodes a lot quicker than silver does, but it will corrode very slightly over time. But what you were saying is absolutely right, and people will do that kind of thing if it becomes no longer cost viable. What will happen though is that won't mean the cost of silver will go down, because there will still be people out there that will still use silver, and that will be part of their marketing ploy. It'll be like Bang & Olufsen TVs. You're paying thousands of pounds for Bang & Olufsen because they use better materials, they use better quality conductors, it's more expensive to make them, that kind of thing. But we see it all the time in economics, and it's 100% true. But it won't necessarily drive the price of silver down, because there will still be people using silver, and they'll be saying their product is better because they're using silver. And there'll be people who out there who want to pay the more to have the better product, and there'll be people out there who want to pay less and are happy to have a slightly less product that they're going to maybe have to change a little bit down the line. It's I don't know if you ever heard of of poor man's shoes as a concept. So poor man's shoes as a concept is, you've got the rich guy and he goes out and he spends 100 quid on a pair of shoes, okay, and he's got a really nice, beautiful pair of shoes. And the poor man goes out and he buys a pair of shoes for 25 quid. And you think, well, daft rich man, because he's paying 100 quid for a pair of shoes. Poor man's bought for 25 quid. But poor man's shoes have been poorly made out, poor material, and poorly stitched together. And the rich man is still wearing the same shoes in his coffin. The poor man has to replace his shoes every year, right? So although you think it's a much bigger purchase in the offset, paying the £100 for the pair of shoes has saved you so much money over time, because you're not having to replace over time as well. So, but we're touching into like economics and supply and demand and all that kind of different thing there. But I think what keeps it relative is it has such an impact in precious metals now, which it didn't necessarily some time ago, before the dot-com boom and before we saw all these innovations, etc. Silver and gold didn't really, apart from the music industry and the television industry, with the, like I say, for the connectors and the cables, etc. Silver and gold industrial use was a lot smaller than it is today. So I think that's what keeps those kind of things relative in this conversation.
Yeah, I think it's all relevant. I really do. And that example you gave there is spot on. At the end of the day, not always, but in most cases, you do get what you pay for. And when you put it like that, it makes total sense. Now, really, the last question here, we've sort of just brought it into the conversation when we spoke about solar panels, is copper. The last thing I want to ask you about, TSC, it is copper. And the reason why is because it's becoming increasingly popular, more with collectors, because of the beautiful designs than stacking. And I have pretty strong opinion on copper as an investment. Personally, I don't see the value in that, but some people do long term. But what are your opinions on copper as we see it more and more becoming a collectible product with some beautiful designs in our market, in this niche? People do enjoy a nice copper piece. What are your thoughts on copper, mate?
So copper, I think, is fantastic. I love copper. I love copper for a number of reasons. I've made a lot of money investing in copper over the years, but that's because I've had access to things like scrap copper. and things like that. And that's where you make money on copper. It's the scrap market. I'm going to be honest. It's not the bullion market. You're 100% right there. Because if you look at the price of a piece of copper bullion, and look at the raw material value, there's a huge gap there. Never say never, and especially not with industrial materials like that. Because one thing we saw a few years ago with China, with the industrial boom of China, it skyrocketed the price of copper overnight. You had people going out and nicking copper pipes, they were breaking into abandoned buildings, nicking the copper pipes to sell it on, etc., etc. So never say never, and you may find copper goes high enough premium to, if you bought a few copper rounds at a couple of quid each, which they have been sold at that in the past. But where, going back to what you're talking about, which is your copper bullion, I've got some just up there. What I like about it is it's affordable. It's beautiful. You've got the beautiful, collectible, desirable designs that you go back to with silver and gold. But because it's made out of copper, a coin that would be £300 plus in silver, the exact same coin, will cost you 10, 15 quid in copper. And if you enjoy that design, if you like what it is, then it's a no-brainer. It's affordable. It goes up over time. It goes back to what we were talking about, holding premiums. A very nice piece of copper will hold its premium. I'll give you an example. I've got the entire first series of Zombooks in copper. Do you think I'm not making money on them? You know what I mean? Like I bought them for something like £4 a coin. You think I can't, you think there's not so many people out there now that are into the Zombooks that they want that first series of Zombooks copper, that I could sell them for like 10, 15 quid a coin.
Intrinsic value goes out the conversation entirely.
Yeah, absolutely.
With some things, it's, like you said, it's worth what someone's willing to pay for it. And for the original Zombooks copper variant, someone's willing to pay a premium for that. 100%, I agree.
And that's it. But that's what you need to, when you're buying copper things, that's what you need to look to. These new, really nice, beautiful, high relief copper pieces. I've got some of the infinity capsules just there, and one of them's an angel and a devil on one side. But the high relief colorized design is so stunning, and I just know that would be a 500 quid pair of coins if they were silver. And just because the copper doesn't mean I love the design any less. And I actually really like copper. I've got roots as a plumber and a plumber's mate back in my day. My dad was a plumber, and I was a plumber's mate for my mate's dad's business, who also had his own plumbing business. So I've got a bit of a copper runs through my veins a little bit, as it were. Well, I've just done. I had one of the copper barbell sets as well right here. But here it is. A copper barbell set keeps me in shape, guys. The only piece of equipment I own, exercise equipment, and then one of my favourite pieces of copper is my little copper ducky that GSH poured for me, which is never far away. And but it's the affordability of it, and this is going down collectors. Again, if you're looking at intrinsic value, it's not for you. But if you're a collector and you like collectible pieces that aren't break the bank money and they're affordable, and you can gather quite a collection over time and may well hold their premium over time, then why not? Go for it. It depends on what you like. If you got no interest in that, I'm not going to try and persuade someone to buy that. If you've got no interest, I'll tell them to don't buy it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. But if you do want it, buy it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think there's a big market, and there's a growing market for copper as well. I do think it's a growing market, and I'm seeing more and more beautiful pieces hitting the market for fairly affordable prices. And I think as it gets more popular, I think the prices will go up a bit on copper. So I think people can do well on it.
Yeah, who knows what the future holds. Quick shout out and a massive thank you, always supporting Vegas Stacker. I hope you're doing well, mate. I hope you are feeling better, and I really appreciate you tuning in this evening, as always, mate. My friend from across the pond, as many of you are, really, really do appreciate the one membership gifted. Thank you so much. So TSC, mate, I've asked you a load of questions. I find it really interesting hearing you talk from your perspective, just as I do every week. Hearing different perspectives to similar questions, the same topic, but it's always a little bit different. And I was particularly looking forward to hearing yours. So thank you for answering my questions. Firstly, I've asked quite a few. 50 of you guys in the live chat right now. Really, really appreciate that. If you're enjoying this show this evening with myself and TSC, please do hit the like button. It is free to do. It takes 2 seconds and it really helps support the show. Don't forget, I'm sure all of you are already, but make sure you do check out TSC's channel. The link is in the description. And yeah, you go live every single Saturday. And as we mentioned before, if you are looking to pick up some bargains, I've referred to Monday nights as bargain basement. You can head over to Whatnot, which is becoming increasingly popular. And the 6 p.m. on a Monday live auction that TSC does, I can certainly vouch, is very, very good if you like a variety of things. It was mainly numismatics, but I am seeing bullion come into the show as well, mate, that you do now. So it's good to see.
Yeah, I do. I've always done a bit of bullion. It goes back to being able to buy stuff at a price I can make money on it, or even make not lose money on it. And bullion a lot of the time is very difficult when you've got that 10% markup from Whatnot. You know, a lot of the times with bullion, the profit you're making on the piece is under 10% as it is, so you've got no wiggle room at all there. But I try and get a bit of bullion in there. I think it's always going to be probably always going to be, you know, mostly pre-decimal, but then there'll be some vintage pieces, some world pieces, a bit of an eclectic job lot, and there is definitely a bargain basement aspect to them. Not all of the coins. There are some nice premium coins. Like the last auction, I actually sold a 1927 Reef Crown and a 2009 Kew Gardens. So there are some nice coins from time to time. It comes in ebbs and flows. Like they all come together at the same time. Like I'll get a load of nice stuff in, and then it's gone, and then it's like kind of a more mundane but really cheap stuff, and then I'll get some more really nice things come up. But there's been some really, really nice pieces go through the auctions recently, for sure.
There is, and like I say, I love the variety, and the tendency is from what I've personally purchased from you, which is quite a lot. When I look back at my Whatnot history. Yeah. Compared to any seller, you're the person by far I've bought the most from, and genuinely, not just saying this because you're here. I wouldn't say this if it wasn't true. All of the numismatic or pre-decimal type of coins I've bought from TSC have been very good condition. You know, there hasn't been anything that's like just barely worth spot price, you know, just a piece of metal. It's all been really, really nice. Yeah. So for you collectors out there, I highly recommend. Now, I've got so many more questions. You now mentioned 50p. We didn't talk about it, but I'm not going to be selfish. If someone wants to ask TSC about 50p's, please do. This is the live Q&A section. I want to share this episode, as always, with all you guys, 51 of you right now in the live chat. If you have a question for our special guest, TSC, or his companion this evening, Canute, then please we'll go through.
Or if you want to know your future,
Yoda.
Magic Yoda is here too.
Yeah, well, Little John's got his wits about him now, mate. He's up there watching.
Yeah, but Little John can't tell you your future like Yoda can.
No, he can't. He can't, mate. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. There was a question for you. I think it was off CY. I want to make sure I don't miss it. So, are you happy for me to go through the questions now? Most of these are for you.
Yeah. CY. So the first one there's a story behind this. There's a story behind this. Okay. So, question for TSC: will you sell me your Series 1s on books? So, my Series 1s on books were sold as a job lot on eBay, and I had CY Sterling on as a guest on my channel, and he was telling me about this entire set of Series 1 Zombooks in copper that he was going to buy on eBay, but some absolute arsehole had come in. He didn't, not his words, my words, eyes, had come in and bought them. And I just picked up a pack and said, "What? These?" So see what I was literally going to buy the set I bought, and I swooped in. I was in Atterbury. I was the original sniper, mate. All right, got him there. Click, click, ting, took it. And no, I won't, mate. They're staying with me. They are.
There we go. Yeah, very, very desirable. I'm just going to whiz through, but I'll keep reading them out for you. So, shiny silver. Question for TSC: when are you going to buy a battle axe and go play Viking, mate?
I've got one. It's very small. It's a tiny little battle axe. It is a battle. It's got battle axe shape on it, and then it's got like a, I don't know, like a pick on the other side kind of thing. It's only small. But I mean, I've got multiple axes. I mean, I'm not short on axes. I've got axes of all different types. I've got about 6 different hatchets, and then I've got big wood splitters, and then I've got, you know, choppers and all kinds of different size axes. So I wouldn't look to buy an axe. I'd just go out with a couple of ones I've already got, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Amazing. Quick personal question just on Vikings. Of course, the Norse Gods Viking series by the Royal Mint and I believe Jaminia as well collaborated. You've got obviously the Odin, you've got Thor, and the last one of the three was Loki. Just a question for me, mate, quickly. Which bar was your favorite design out of those three Norse Gods ones? They're all nice.
They're all nice, and I'm going to be honest with you, Craven. I'm going to be honest. I'm very guilty at this. Very much so on the series. I haven't looked on properly.
Really? Well, you didn't bought them, but you just put them aside.
No, I bought the because I'm a glutton for putting. I love my Vikings, like runes and everything.
Really?
So because it were Vikings, I didn't get the Germania one. So I paid the money and got the Royal Mint ones, and because of that, there was a box. When you bought the first one, Odin, it came with a little box, and it had enough room for 3 bars. And so when I bought them, we've gone into the box. And I've never really took the time to really enjoy them. It's just like, well, I'm going to own you anyway. So I need to have a better look at the designs. But from memory, I think Odin, might have just picked it. I can't remember if it's Loki or Thor, but I think one of them I was a bit like the design was a bit meh. I think it might have been Thor. I think it was Thor. And I think the design was a bit meh on that one, but I can remember the Odin one. Yeah, I really like the Odin one. It got me into the series, so I'm going to go with Odin. But I've got a feeling we're going to see a part 2 of that series.
Oh, I hope so. I also did the same as you. I've got the original one in the black box.
Yeah.
I think it comes as like a red and black edition. I've got the in the full colorized assays. I've got the 3 that fit into the box. I also have the standard ones. But I thought it was a great series. But I won't natter anymore. It's not my turn to ask questions. I've had my turn, and thank you, Shiny, for that question.
Oh, anything to do with Vikings? I want it all to be Vikings.
This one isn't, mate. I'm not sure where John Clayton's going with this. It just says, "Is stat?"
No, it is Viking related. It is Viking related, and Craven may not know this. Craven may not know this, but I went on a Viking raid many years ago to the north of England, and there was a young buxom woman I met up there. We spent a night of mad, passionate lovemaking, and here he is, Craven.
Here I am. Oh my god!
No, I wish it was true. I wish it was true.
That's where I got the beard from. It's not as good as yours. I don't grow it out like you do, but it's not bad. Half decent beard I've got going on, but you win, mate. You definitely win on the beard game. You've got the Viking qualified beard. Here we go. Question from Benson. I knew they'd come in. Benson loves his 50p's, mate. So, TSC, are you selling any 50p's out of your collection? And if so, let me know.
Maybe all of them.
Ooh.
Apart from the only one I don't think I would ever sell is my Kew Gardens First Day Cover edition. I looked at them recently, and a couple of them have sold at 600 quid recently. So that's a very, very sought after edition of it. It's one that it comes with. You got the stamps with it, and it comes with the info pack and everything. But my other collection, my album of the circulated ones, they're mine. I'm keeping them. I had a lot of fun collecting them. I had a lot of fun filling that album. The not for circulation ones, I mean, I've spoken about this on the channel, so a lot of this won't be new to a lot of people. But the Royal Mint, I'm not alone. There's a lot of us out here. They're putting us off of the 50p's with how they're handling the 50p's. They're throwing so many out that are all not for circulation. None of them are going into circulation. Now, if you look back, what were first modern size commemorative in 98, wasn't it? We did 2 in 98. It were NHS and one of it, what were it, dictionaries or something in 98. And we had 2 in that year. And then you were lucky if you had one not for circulation, if you had one commemorative 50p per year. And that's how it went most years. Some years didn't get one. And then other years got one per year till you got to about 2013. And then 2013 came, you had multiple ones come out. And then we got to Beatrix Potter. that got stupidly popular. They were selling 50p for hundreds of pounds, and that's when people like really started to look at 50p's, and the commemoratives got really popular. A lot of people like didn't even know about them. Were like, oh wow, some 50p's have got these different pictures on them, and they're worth a load more money. But now they're doing like 10, 20 not for circulations per year. It's just absolutely incredible how, you know, if I got my 50p album out, one side of it is pretty much one per year, all that entire side, apart from a couple there, and then the other side you've got like 2 years on it, because that's how many have come out in those 2 years, and it's put me off a lot. And I've not bought the last few, and I'm in a position right now whereas, do I put the effort in, buy the few I've missed, get it back up to speed, and then carry on with it, or do I just draw a line in the soil on the sand
and sell up? Just
sell them, just sell them. I've fallen out of love with them, and there are the ones, the circulating ones with Kew Gardens I won't sell, but the others which are all in bunk packs, which I used to buy both versions, the colorized and the standard version in bunk packs, they may well go up for sale, and if they do, Benson, I'll give you a shout for sure.
There you go. I will add from I've got no real knowledge of the 50p's, so certainly not the circulated ones. I only own, I think, 2 50p's to my name. One is a lovely Christmas themed one that Benson sent me, and the other one I got is more recently, which I'm sure you'll understand why I got it. It was the recent Lord of the Rings, the One Ring.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which I think 50p collectors might not like it. It's not about the 50p. I just love Lord of the Rings. I see the value in it, and of course, I got the silver-proof version in the acrylic box. I think 7,500 mintage officially. I think it's lovely, but yeah, it's only because of the Lord of the Rings. I don't collect 50p's, mate, but I understand your points on the circulated ones. And yeah, I will say,
I think. Go on.
I was going to say, so before any of this, when I got into this space, mate, I didn't know anything about the 50p's or the silvers or gold, anything. Knew nothing about it, but I used to play pool really regularly in the pub, and there was this one time where you put 50p into the machine to start the game. And I was like, oh, that's weird. It's got like a fish on the back. Only a couple of years later did I realise, I actually put, I think it's the Atlantic salmon.
An Atlantic salmon. Yeah.
Out of change in the pub, put that into a bloody pool machine. It's a game of pool. And I didn't know at the time it was worth anything.
Yeah, I did exactly the same thing with the original Kew Gardens. Like I said, I was doing the market stores. I used to have a bum bag as a money bag, and somebody gave me some change. I vividly remember looking at my hand, looking down at this 50p coin and thinking, oh, that's a funny looking lighthouse. And then I went and spent it. And of course, there's never been a lighthouse on a 50p. There has, however, been the Begola at Kew Gardens. So, yeah.
Never mind.
Up there.
Glass Velo with a question for TSC. How did you get started in tree surgery?
Rock climbing. I used to do rock climbing. I used to do quite a bit of rock climbing. I used to enjoy climbing. Came out of, I used to do very professional jobs. I was a claims manager for numerous insurance companies. Worked for a loss adjuster. I was a customer care executive for a very large property rental company. I worked at Boots' head office, worked at Eon, and I came away from all these high-paced office jobs, and I said to myself, what do I want to do? I want to earn money doing something I enjoy doing. What do I enjoy doing? I enjoy climbing. How can you make money out of climbing? Well, you can become a climbing instructor. There's basically no jobs for those. There's people, wanting to do it so much they do it for free just to get the experience for qualifications. So it's basically, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's one of those where you're lucky to get into that kind of field, or you can grab a chainsaw, strap it to you, and climb a tree instead of a rock. So I thought, well, what about tree surgery? I had a friend who was a tree surgeon at the time, so I wasn't going in completely blind. I had a decent understanding of the money involved in it and what it took, that kind of thing. And I think if it wasn't for that friend I knew, it probably might not have crossed my mind to do it. but it was a way of trying to tie in something that I love doing as a hobby to something that I could make money off of, and that's the honest truth of it.
That makes sense. I think that's a good move for anyone.
If you
earn money and if
you're asking, for sure, if you're asking how one would get started in tree surgery, you would go and get a few qualifications. You want to go and get your cross-cutting qualification, and then you want to get your felling qualification. So you'll do a maintenance and cross-cutting is basically how to look after a chainsaw, as well as how to cut lumber that's on a saw bench. So it was a tree, now it's a long piece of wood that's on a saw bench, and you're just cross-cutting it. So you just stood there cutting down against a lateral tree. And then after that, you'll start off with your small tree felling, which is up to a certain diameter of tree. And then after that, you go medium and then large, which are larger and larger diameters. Even a small tree, don't think a small tree is necessarily a tree because it's in diameter, it's not in height. And even quite skinny trees can grow very, very, very big. So you'll get that done. And then after that, you want to get your aerial rescue using a chainsaw in a harness. And there's one more, I can't quite remember the name of it right now. All in all, it'll take you about a week. You can get your full qualifications in a week. I would highly recommend doing a lot of swatting up. All the information's on there on YouTube. That you can basically go through all the questions that are in the actual test. It's open knowledge. It's fine for people to know the questions beforehand because they want you to know it. It's not a let's see if we can trick you. They want you to know this information. They want you to know the different parts of a chainsaw and how to maintenance it and how to use it safely and correctly. So you can go on YouTube. You can find videos that will tell you all the information, swat up, and then go down. And then the instructor will show you what you're doing with it. It'll get you to first thing you'll do is you'll sharpen your chain and you'll clean all your grommets and all your nuts and bolts out and all that. And then after that, it'll take you out and you'll start cutting some trees, and he'll show you all the different cuts, whether it's a letterbox cut, dog tooth, standard cut, or whatever. That's it. And after you've done that, you're a qualified tree surgeon. And then it's just about going out, buying the kit. The kit is not going to be cheap. It's not cheap stuff to buy. It costs you thousands for your kit, and then you've got your tipper trailer. That's tens of thousands in that, and then you've got as well as that, you've got your public liability insurance, and then you're done. And then you can do it. One step above that, what I'm a qualified tree surgeon. Above that, you can become what's known as an arborist, and an arborist does everything I've done, but knows everything about every kind of tree, inside and outside. And that's a 2-year. I think it's a 2-year qualification. It's certainly years long to become a fully qualified arborist. But if you just want to go down there and do it for work, for a job, be a tree surgeon, then it'll take you about a week to do it in qualifications, and then however long it takes you to buy the stuff. Or you could get a job doing it for someone else, and they'll provide you the kit. So that's one way to do it, and it's fairly decent paid if you're doing it for somebody else.
I think that sounds very interesting. To be honest, nice to get out and about, different locations, out in nature, and excuse me. Thank you for sharing that as well in the answer, in great detail as well for anyone that was interested or is potentially looking for a completely fresh start in their career. It's good to know these things. So yeah, I'm going to quick fire these couple of questions because they're quite quick questions. TSC, I'm bringing Silverback. Love that name. Do you stack wood?
Yes, I do, because I have a log burner. So it's very much in my interest to stack wood. Yeah, I also sell it. I've got a few other people I know that have log burners, and I'll sell it. Yeah. So I'll cut it all up into chunks and bag it up in those mesh bags, and I've got a store full of them, and I dry it out over a couple of seasons because it's got to be dry nowadays when you sell it. And then I'll sell that a little bit cheaper than your petrol station and your other places sell it. So I might as well, once I've took the tree down, I might as well, haven't I? I've got the timber there. I can either chipper it up and then go and pay to offload it somewhere, or I can turn it into firewood and make profit off it.
Is it mainly
yeah,
soft or hardwood? Because I also have a log burner myself.
It's got to be a hardwood, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Talking about wood, it's got to be hard. No, the hardwoods, your hardwoods, you better burn. I'll charge more for a hardwood because that's a longer burning wood. I mean, a soft wood is good for getting a fire going. So you're good for making kindling sticks and stuff like that. Your soft wood, because they'll go up really quickly, but they'll burn out really quickly too.
For those with a very expansive imagination, the last 20 seconds is probably a good opportunity to clip this conversation. I'm sure
hardwood lasts longer. Hardwood lasts longer.
It does.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
That's why I asked. It was a genuine question. As someone that buys logs, has a log burner, we get a mix. It's mainly hardwood, but some softwood as well comes in. But good question. We'll keep moving because TSC, there is loads of questions for you. And before the end of this live today, guys, I've got a short giveaway I'm going to be doing, which is essentially for those lucky people that watched until the end of my last video and commented Cardiff Gold socks. Their names are on a list. I'll do a giveaway for a Cardiff Gold care package as mentioned, but we've got plenty more questions.
And this guy right here don't know this, but I've got a giveaway too.
Oh, okay. What? What have you got?
Stuff. Give away.
Should we come back to that? Sure.
No, do you want to see it? Yeah. Okay. So I've gone a bit American theme today. I don't know why. I just fancied it. But what we've got is you've got the bicentennial silver $half, United States of America, 1776 to 1976, right there in capsule, uncirculated. You've got the bicentennial silver quarter, United States of America. These are all commemoratives for the bicentennial, and then which of course is 200 years of America. And then for 250 years of America, you got a little bit of gold, guys. A little bit of gold for you lovers of the yellow stuff right here. It's a 1,000 coin. It's got a map of America on there. United States of America, 250 years of freedom right there. And then we've got a Rosie and a Mercury 900 silver dime.
Dimes.
Can I do it? I'm trying to.
Nice.
That's it. That's your lot. That's it. You're not having no more out of me.
I honestly, you are right in what you say. I didn't know you were planning on doing that. I don't always do giveaways. I respect you. How many episodes you've done? I think you said 129. You're always giving stuff away. A real staple of the community. That's really, really nice. I'd have to ask though. I wasn't prepared for that. How would you like to do that giveaway? I don't have a list. I don't have,
How do I want to do it? I want to do an Italian brain rot. So I want to do it.
Whatever you want to do, mate. Honestly.
Well, you're asking how to do it. I don't know. How do you want to collect the people? I can't even see YouTube. I can just see you. You've got 100% of my attention right now.
Well, the thing is,
you and this thing right here.
Currently, we've got over 40 people. We can come to this before the end when we do the giveaways right at the end. I'd have to essentially take down the names and put them into my Little John's Wheel of Wonder. That's how I would.
Do you use OBS?
No, mate. I use StreamYard, just StreamYard.
See, OBS, you can go on participants and it gives you a list and then you control an A and it tells you everyone who's there in your chat. It's dead easy.
I may have to look.
You just go to say
yes at some point.
Yeah. I know a lot of people use Streamlabs. I've never used Streamlabs. I know a lot of people do. I use Stream Elements for me fancy stuff and OBS for the actual streaming service itself. But we can do like just rerun the list of people in that or collate a list of people who's here, or you can do it as the way I used to do it, which kind of half maybe nearly worked, didn't though, was where I get everyone to put a word in the live chat and then count how many times you have that word put in the live chat, and then put that many ducks in the race, and then say if duck number 3 won, it'd be the third person to have put that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure between us we can figure something out, but before the end, we'll figure it out. But more than anything, that's just insanely generous, mate. So from me, thank you.
That's all right.
For everyone here, TSC's been very generous, and one of you is going to be walking away with a real nice collection there, including some gold as well. So that's special, very, very kind. So thank you. But TSC, as I mentioned, I might ask you for more of a quick fire, just so we can the comments that have come through. We can get through
absolutely, mate.
Okay,
yep.
we'll say, what are we? Yeah, maybe another 10-15 minutes tops of questions, and then we'll end off with the giveaways. Is that okay?
That's fine. So, yeah, no trouble.
They won't take too long. So I don't know what this is. A mystery says, "Are we allowed to have sharp things now?"
No.
No, you have to be a good little citizen, right? And all your knives have to be made out of plastic, and you're not allowed to do anything unless the man upstairs tells you to do it, and that's how everyone's got to live from now on. Yeah, no, I don't know. No, you want a sharp thing? I've got swords and the lot right here, mate. I've got sharp things. I tell you what, have some of that. You weren't ready for that one, were you? My little Bouteur knife. My little Bouteur knife. This was a gift from Sammy Ranger or Sammy Lowe, fantastic guy. And if you're watching, hey Sammy, congratulations on the job, mate. But yeah, I've also got some stainless steel, not stainless steel, sterling silver fruit knives and everything. So yeah, you're allowed sharp things. Get them in. Buy as many sharp things as you can. Go stock them now while you can, while stocks last.
Shiny silver question for both. If you could no longer do your current jobs or sell coins / bullion for a living, what would you want / like to do, TSC?
Oh, I mean, realistically, or non-realistic.
Anything. I think with a question like that, be ambitious. If it could be anything, mate, even if it's not realistic. Your head right now.
I'd like to win hundreds of thousands of pounds per year by winning 3 fishing matches a year and being the best angler in the UK. Because if you won the top 3, that's about what you'd win. If you won the top 3 angling competitions in the UK per year, you win about £300,000.
Wow! So you'd be a professional.
I could live on that.
Fisherman is like a sport. That would be your dream job. Yeah. For me, this probably sounds. It might not make sense to people. I would love to be a commentator on a sport. I absolutely love sports. I love the
I've never tried it, so never tried it. I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, you have. That's why you're professional.
My other answer, if you were going to be more realistic, forest ranger, but on a watchtower out in like in one of those forests that's so in America that's so big it takes like an entire day to get to your little station out there. You know what I mean? Where you're on your own against the nature, against the wild. You've got your radio and you've got some kind of link to the outside world. But yeah, one of those I think they're called fire watchers or whatever they are in America. I've always kind of liked the idea of that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think you'd be good at that as well. So yeah, there we go. Right, this isn't an easy question to answer quickly, but see if you can do it. If anyone,
hold on. That were a question for both.
I said, didn't I? I said I would be a sports commentator.
You did, yeah.
I did say it was only.
I gave 2 answers. I gave 2 answers. You should.
So I've got to give 2.
Yeah, make it fair.
Oh,
so that's like because like that'll be like you kind of not so realistic, but if you had to do a more realistic one, if you know what I mean.
I would actually quite love to own a company in this space. I'd like to own a company in this space, not necessarily just a bullion dealer, collectibles, just everything. I would like to have my own company that offers a bit of everything, that brings people together and people can trade. Something down that route. I would love to own that. That's potentially realistic. All these things are difficult, but if I was to give an alternative, more based on what we know and love, I'd love to own my own company in this space. However that would look, I can't give you a full blueprint, a business plan right now, but I would love, because, since I joined, I didn't join just for the hype. I really got into this. I spent time learning, and I'm going to be here for a long time. I absolutely love this space. I'm passionate about this, and it's why I love speaking to people like you, mate, because it's so interesting, and you're always learning from people who have been doing it longer than you, and I love being part of the conversation. So what better job or business to be in than right here in a way that I can enjoy and have as a business, but people will benefit from it, however that would look. That would be something I would love to do.
Thank you.
So this question from Mick is, do you guys think that we'll all have to liquidate our stacks to get debased fiat to live while metal prices are still suppressed in that future hyperinflationary environment? Interesting.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not, mate. Hopefully we can hold on to it until it's not so stupidly suppressed. There will be times like we saw the end of last year, beginning of this year. There will be times like that sporadically. I said it last year that my prediction is that we'll see sporadic hikes. It'll calm down. It'll go down again. It'll be suppressed again for a while. Then we'll see another hike because it's been suppressed for too long. It will go higher than its value is. It will come back down. And I think we're going to see that happen sporadically over the next 10 years. I think there will be times where it will go up and it will spike. And I do think that's going to happen from time to time again, going forwards. So hopefully, I mean, that's all down to the individual, what happens in their lifetime, in their personal life. But hopefully we'll all be able to hold on until there's a good price, and we'll be able to get a good price when we sell. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Jamie Frost says, TSC, would you prefer 2 bullion sovereigns or 1 George III Garter sovereign? Which one are you picking?
I mean, where's the question? There's no question there.
No
Get away with your two. You're probably rose gold bullion sovereigns. Get out of here. Give me that garter. Give me that garter.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say
that. I'll tell you a story about a garter, about an 1817 garter, fucking George III sovereign. Cardiff Gold sent me one to review. I've got it on channel. You can see it. The video's there. There's proof, evidence, and everything. He sent me one to review for the channel, and I was like, oh, it's got to be worth a fortune. It's got to be worth. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know how much it's worth. So I sent it back to him, and then I was doing a deal with him. It was actually because I sell outside as well. There's some people I buy and sell to. Someone had come to me and they wanted to buy someone in their family a present, and they were getting into gold, and they wanted to buy them a couple of gold coins. And I contacted Cardiff Gold and spoke to him about it. And in the conversation, it came up that he said, "Oh, we don't put any numismatic value on this kind of stuff. We just sell it at gold value." There you go, little man. We sell it at the sovereign value. I never said anything. It's just this dark realization came behind the eyes that means that 1817 was at bloody spot price. I let it go back to him, and I'll never forgive myself for that. Never forgive myself for it. But it'd have to be the garter. It's my favorite. I just love that design, that original George and the Dragon garter design with the garter around it. It's not that different from the modern George and the Dragon. It's got the garter in it, but I think that garter just really sets it off. I do, and I would personally, I'd rather have one of those than 2 bullion sovereigns.
That makes sense. Just out of interest, obviously they're not a spot price sovereign. How much are you talking for one of the garter sobs? Probably
looking, $2-3 grand kind of territory. I mean, it's difficult to say because, like, a standard sovereign is going to cost you nearly £1,000 nowadays, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I'd probably say £3 grand plus. But I haven't looked. And it's one of those things, it's kind of like you get to that level and you have to look at what individuals have sold at auction recently. And because of that, it can fluctuate quite a lot. But yeah, I'd say in decent nick, I'd say £3 grand plus probably.
I love questions like that. So thank you, Jamie. And thank you for staying up to watch this. I know it's late for you, mate. I really appreciate you being here. Last few questions, folks. I'll try and get as many as I can now. This one, this is from Vegas. Is it just me, or does TSC and his foot look alike?
Well, Canute, and this has been verified by a lot of people. Canute is the most beautiful thing to ever exist. So I'm not going to take that as a criticism. You know what I mean?
Shiny says that they're both very hairy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's good. I'm going to see what other questions we've got, guys, because in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to move on to the giveaways because we're going to wrap this up within 2 hours, as always. So let's make the most of the time. But that is funny. Is there any more for any more? Yes, there's one from There's one from Nerd. TSC, when can I start spamming Christmas without losing groin coins? Already, Nerd? Really?
Nerd can spam Christmas from December the 26th if he wants to do. He's just not allowed to use one certain photograph. And you're not allowed to use that one certain photograph until the 1st of December. We know this, Nerd. This rule is cemented. It's set in stone. The 1st of December is when that infamous, hideous photograph can start doing rounds. Until then, you will lose 100 coin any time I bloody see it, mate. It's awful. Shame for shame. If anyone don't know, it's a bloke in a mankini bending over to put a bloody star on top of a Christmas tree. It's all there. It's all there to see. No, put it away, Nerd.
It's actually been painted in silver forever now because I landed Nerd as my Secret Santa, and I obviously got Punk to do that. So, yeah, he's got that for eternity now, and it is iconic. And let me tell you, if you have not seen that picture, I'm sure if you ask Nerd to see the iconic picture, he'll happily share. Between the
1st and 25th of December. Yeah, ask him between the 1st and 25th of December. Okay. Yeah, it is iconic between the 1st and 25th of December. The rest of the year, get ready. By the way, Nerd, got one of these for Mini Nerd. He didn't come on Sunday, but I've got one of those for Mini Nerd. Tell him.
Oh.
Little gold coin for him.
That's really nice. Good to see. Might make this the second to last question. Do either of you play a musical instrument?
Yes.
What do you play?
Yes. The recorder.
Okay. Have you got a recorder to hand? The invisible recorder.
No, that's what it would sound like. It's generally what it would sound like if I did have a recorder to hand. I don't. I have 3 guitars to hand. Can't play any of them. But I used to pay a mean backup recorder. I was never like a proper solo recorder. It was always like the backup recorder, where you just that was how much you could do. Like you had to hold on the hole at the bottom on the back. Yeah. Yay, rock and roll, baby.
Always the entertainer, mate. Always. Right. Let's see if we can answer these quickly. We might not get another one after this. Depends how long it takes to answer. This is from Crispy. We know Craven is always up for a good conspiracy. Yes, I am. Does TSC have any good ones?
Well, I'm famously known for never even hearing the phrase conspiracy. What does conspiracy mean? I'm not sure. I don't think this was before your time, Crispy, but back in the day, we used to do a thing at the end of every Saturday live stream where we went down Conspiracy Corner. It used to be a lot of fun, put a lot of people off watching. But for a few that were into conspiracies, it was a lot of fun. So I know pretty much all of them. There's some really fantastic ones out there. The good ones. But what do you want? Do you want to know the ones that there's a bit of that's a bit weird to me, kind of thing. That I think there's a bit. I don't know whether it's true or not. Did we go to the moon? Don't know. Honestly, couldn't tell you if we did or we didn't. I'm on the fence on that one. There's a lot of evidence either side. I don't care what you say. There's a lot of evidence either side. The world is not flat. It's not flat. It is not. I promise you. It's a no spheroid. We're a bit of a big bum.
I think that's been proven scientifically.
It has scientifically been proven many times. It's not flat. So there's the moon landing one. That generally gets me, and then there's a few other ones that really get me. I'm trying to think of a few now. But I'm into them all. The pyramids get me really, really interested. It's like, how the hell did we build the pyramids? We would struggle. The point is, we would struggle to build the pyramids nowadays if we did. Some of my favourite ones. Have you ever heard of the doorway of Mars?
I have heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, there's just a straight up doorway in Mars, right? You tell me how this makes sense, right? So you got Mars rover, he's chugging along, doing his little thing, no complaints there. He's doing it. He's looking around, chugga, looking around. Yeah, sending it all back to Earth, fine. And then all of a sudden, there's just a straight up doorway, just off there in the distance. And NASA says, okay, well, fair enough. We'll just don't go over there. Don't go and inspect it. Don't go and get close to it to see what it actually is. No, just keep going. Just keep. Why would you not? Like, if you don't mind, can I show it? I'll show everyone what I mean. Right.
Go for it. This is interesting.
Mars. All right. Mars hasn't got a D in it.
Just to let you know, TSC,
right, here we go.
With the giveaways, mate, we might go 10 minutes over the 9 o'clock just to get this in. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's no problem. Right. Okay. So, what am I on? Osmo? Okay. So I want left money. Sorry about this for a sec. Right. This one here. This photo here. Let me just. That's the photo. It's a straight up doorway on Mars, mate.
That is a straight up doorway. Yeah.
It's a straight up doorway on Mars. And even if it's not, why did they not go over and investigate it closer than that? What possible reason would they have to not go and investigate that? Like, that would be the first thing. I'd be like, well, everyone stop. Literally, everyone stop what we're doing. We need to get it over there and find out what that blatant doorway is in the middle of Mars. There's loads of other things as well. It's crazy, some of the stuff we found there. Some imprints in rock which literally just straight up look like cogs and mechanisms from machinery and stuff like that. So there's that. There's also a number of what look to be kind of like buildings or ruins of buildings on the moon and other sections of Mars, like these monoliths and all these different things. And it just feels like a lot of it's been covered up. Like I say, with that, the rovers drove past it and took that photo as it's drove past, and at no point someone's thought, well, that's interesting, let's go and have a closer look at that. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's some fantastic conspiracies out there, and I've always said I don't necessarily believe them, but I'm interested by all of them. I like hearing the stories and taking it on with a pinch of salt, but yeah, you've got to love a good conspiracy, haven't you?
And a great quote I saw, because we speak about these things quite regularly on a Sunday, mate, and I can't remember who commented it, but it was so true. With a lot of conspiracies throughout time, the difference between like a conspiracy and facts sometimes is just a matter of time, because what are conspiracies today in 20 years will be breaking news, confirmed.
Well, I'll tell you this, like mainstream science shuts off a lot of stuff if it goes against mainstream science in any way, shape, or form. And I'll give you a perfect example. I've been saying this for years. Like, people don't always get the point I'm trying to make, but dragons don't exist. Sorry, I do apologize. Dinosaurs don't exist. Dinosaurs don't exist, or at least dinosaurs shouldn't exist, right? Because dinosaurs were only discovered like towards the end of the 18th century, yeah. So that's a very, very recent period of time, yeah. Dragons have gone back thousands of years. People have been writing about dragons. Every single culture across the planet, every single culture has dragon myths, yeah. And what are dragons? They are large reptiles, yeah, large lizards, right? Sometimes they fly, sometimes they're depicted to breathe fire. Fair enough. Right, so why is it that in the late 18th century, Mr. Man's walking, well, it weren't a man, it was a woman, wasn't it? I can't remember her name. Someone was saying chat, Mary Anning or something like that. We're walking down beach and she saw looked at cliffs, she saw a bone at cliff, and we dug it out and we looked at it, we looked at, bones of a gigantic lizard right here. I know, it's a brand new thing we've never heard of before called a dinosaur. It's a dragon. You've just proved dragons are real, and dragons used to exist millions of years ago. Why are you changing the narrative so much? Like, it's known as a dragon. You find a dragon, you call it a bloody dinosaur because you don't want to admit a mythical creature actually existed. You know what I mean? They'll find Bigfoot one day in America and they'll call it a new species of bloody ape and say, oh, no, Bigfoot don't exist. No Bigfoot's around here. But this North American Sasquatch ape does. That's it's that kind of thing. But it's like, just the word dinosaur annoys me because you found something that was thought to exist anyway. But he's having a breakdown. I get look. It's a bee in my bonnet, is what it is. But do you know what I'm saying? Do you get the point of what I mean, though? You know what I mean? Like, why did we not turn around and say, well, here we go, we found the skeleton of a dragon, a large reptile. So the point I'm making is mainstream science will bend over backwards to protect its own rhetoric and not allow ideas that fall outside that rhetoric. And one of the best examples of that is Graham Hancock, who's done some fantastic work, but his name is being absolutely pulled through the mud by mainstream scientists. It's really horrific, some of the stuff they're trying to do to him. And it's because he's asking questions with a good amount of evidence behind him. He's not saying like this is it. He's saying this is what could have happened. And because it doesn't necessarily fall into the same category of what mainstream science thinks, they say he's dangerous, and he's not dangerous. He's asking a few questions. Another example is Clovis First, Clovis First was meant to be the first people ever to step foot in America, which they dated so many thousand years ago, and they said they crossed the Bering landmass, etc., etc., etc. Now we know that's now absolutely BS because they found mammoth bones. They were digging up a highway. They found mammoth bones which were over 150,000 years old, which showed signs of being prepared with tools for a meal. So like the meat being cut apart and being skinned, that kind of thing. And they could see clear signs of that in the bones, but mainstream science will say no, Clovis First is not, anything outside that is rubbish. And there's been examples of scientists that have been destroyed, died penniless, and after their death, they're what they've been saying all along has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, to the point where science has to accept it, but they have to live being disgraced. And it can be absolutely horrific, some of the way that some of these so-called pseudo-scientists are treated. And I've always thought, people should be able to ask questions. You know what I mean? Like, if the answer's not there, then let people ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, we don't get to answers, do we? You know what I mean? Anyway, that's me rapping on.
No, I was enjoying listening to that, mate. I could go on about this for ages. I'll quickly add that the same sort of narrative applies if you're into your UFOs and that whole space. Bob Lazar and the conspiracy there, and what he said and what he showed his real life friends, and the pain he went through, what they put him under. They had all of his phone lines tapped. They were on him, and he was essentially revealing his truth, his version of events to the world, which at that point was quite crazy. This is a guy who I believe had a rocket fueled engine in a car. Like he was crazy science guy. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. So there's a worse example than that. I can't think of his name. He's not as famous as Bob Lazar, but he was a contractor to the Air Force, and they sent him insane. They literally sent him insane. They were feeding him information. The Wi-Fi was a fantastic channel on this kind of stuff. They did an episode about it where they touched on Bob Lazar in the episode, but there was and I can't remember his name, but he was a contractor for the Air Force, and they sent him absolutely. He ended up in an asylum, and it was terrible what happened to him. It was all perpetrated by the American government. What's the name of that guy that was guilty for spreading most of the misinformation about UFOs? He works for the CIA.
I know who you mean. I can't think of his name though.
It's like tip of my tongue. It'll come to me as soon as we've finished for live. But there's no, it's not gold. But
I know what you're referring to. I just can't think of his name.
I'll tell you in a second. It's bothering me so much. I've got to.
Right.
It won't take me 2 seconds.
That's okay.
Richard Doty.
There we go. Don't know where I got Goldberg from.
That's him. Richard Doty, and he works for CIA. He basically went on conferences, he said a load of stuff, and then it came out years later that he was actually working for CIA, and he was putting misinformation out, which is interesting because I said this many years ago. What's the name of that ex-footballer who went nuts? He were a professional. No, he were a commentator. He were a football commentator. Begins with an I. What's his name? Can't remember his name, but he went mad. He went on Terry Wogan. He was famous for going on Terry Wogan, and he was saying all this really bizarre stuff.
David Icke.
David Icke.
Thank you,
sorry, David Icke. Yeah, it's, you say Ike, not Icke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was David Icke, and he came out with all this absolute David. Yeah. He came out with all this mad, real mad stuff like the great Godhead called something, and he was representative of the great Godhead. But I always just say, well, do you know what? Do you know if I were the government and I wanted people not to know the truth, I would get someone like him. I would get him out there saying the most outlandish, most obviously BS crap I could think of. And then I'd also get him to say the real stuff as well. And the reason I do that is because if I'm getting him to say it, it's discrediting it. Because he said it, because he said so much absolute nonsense that could never, ever possibly be true, that you start associating it as nonsense, you know, because he's not a respectable person saying it, or he's not respected by science, the person who's saying it. So I thought that made me think, and I did think that would be the kind of way where they would put information out, and it would be done so to. Yes, they're being truthful, but they're doing it in a way that would make it seem like it wasn't the truth, if you know what I mean. And I think there's a lot of that going off in the world, you know, for more actual down-to-earth subjects as well. But going back to alien abductions, one thing that I thought was very interesting when I learned it is alien abductions, you know, one argument against them is alien abductions have only been reported since the 50s. And it was reported pretty much the same kind of time where people were doing a lot of outer space science fiction, comics and films, and the man from another world, and we were looking to go to the moon. So, you know, the world was really focused on space, and that's when alien abductions really, you know, stories really started happening. If it's true, why did the stories only start happening when we started actually looking at space? You know, you would expect to see it happen a long time before, leading up to it, wouldn't you? And that's one of the arguments against it. Now, what's interesting, and this is God's honest truth, and I'm not saying it's true, I'm just saying it's interesting. What is interesting is, although there wasn't alien abduction stories predating that, if you look at a medieval account of a fairy abduction, it's near enough identical to a modern day alien abduction, where they come, take you away to another place, which is very often filled with light. It's so bright you can't see other things. They do things and then send you back. And the parallel between a fairy abduction and an alien abduction is so very close that it almost suggests that actually it is real. And what we were mistaking as fairy abductions for all these hundreds and thousands of years were actually alien abductions. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's interesting when you start looking at things that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I say, I think there's truth behind a lot of these things. I think over years, messages get changed, stories get changed in different ways. But these are all things that they've been spoken about for thousands of years in some cases, which is crazy, really. So I do believe, and we won't go into the ins and outs of all of it, I do believe there's an element of truth to some of them. As for David Icke, I've seen some of his stuff and on podcasts, and he talks about the royal family being like lizard people and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know how far I can believe into that. There are other topics, though, that I do find fascinating. And honestly, I could do a whole other different podcast or at some point with you on these types of stuff, TSC, because I generally am fascinated.
Oh, for sure.
What we have got, guys, is 2 juicy giveaways I'd like to get in before we wrap up this evening. The first one is a smaller one that I'm doing for those people that did watch to the end of my last video where I reviewed a 1 kilo copper bar. Thank you to Cardiff Gold. And at the end, I said comment Cardiff Gold socks to be entered in a giveaway. For those that have done
How
it,
nice was that bar?
Oh, I've got it here, mate. Yeah, it's just up there. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Here, guys, available right now. Cardiff Gold. Go and check them out at their website. A fantastic store, brand spanking new. It's not the germanium copper bar you think it is. It's this brand spanking new one right here. They were kind enough to send me one across as well. So do definitely head over to Cardiff Gold, and it's a stunning bar, isn't it? It really is. I really like that. If I was going to go into my reviewing hat, I'd say it's got stunning geometric design to it with striking angles.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It omits the rounded, less perfect finish that you may see on lesser copper bars. This isn't just any copper bar. This is the Marks and Spencer's germanium mint.
It is what it says on the tin. Obviously, a lot of people instantly say, "Oh, I much prefer the more the poured sort of stamped, shinier finish bars." Which
I like that. I like that.
They're stunning, and yes, but this is sold as a raw copper bar. It is what it says on the tin. It's a little bit cheaper as well, and it's still got that premium feel with the box and everything. Germanium mint. It is essentially just a large 1 kilo sheet of copper, and I like the simplicity of it. And TSC, I've never owned a 1 kilo of any metal, so this is a first for me. And having held it, like, it just feels good. So, you know, it's not an investment type thing. It's a collectible. It's a nice to have. And if you want to treat yourself, I think it's worth checking out. Like TSC said, on Cardiff Gold right now, a really, really nice bar. What more can I say?
Yeah, exactly. Head on over, guys. Stop watching the stream. What are you doing still here? Get to Cardiff Gold. Go and get them while stocks last. Get out of here. No, don't stay, because we're giving away some goodies. Don't go nowhere.
I don't know. I think Robot Toaster was the only one that noticed that. There is someone missing up there right now. When I went to grab it, I knocked little John and he fell about 4 feet. So I think he's okay. He's made of solid stuff. But yeah, there we go. I'm going to do my giveaway first. I'm not going to show you all. I got sent quite a few Cardiff Gold care packages, so I'm dishing them out as and when. But one thing I am going to show you is this, because TSC is here and I want a second opinion. Now, we just spoke about conspiracies. Whoever wins my giveaway will get one of these courtesy of Cardiff Gold. Now, TSC, I've spoken about these.
My giveaway too.
Yeah. In your expert opinion, mate, this is a conspiracy, but I think it's facts. Are these pens not, or are they, the best pens in the entire world?
Hold on. Where am I going? What have I done with it? I've lost it. Hold on. Where did I put it? It's missing, so I'm gonna say yes. Well, what have I done with that? I need that from the auctions. I don't know. I had a germanium mint pen, and I'm gonna be honest with you. My go-to pen is my germanium mint one. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, Dan would.
And I also have, if you give me a second, let me see if I can find it. See, I'm not lying to you, mate. I've got my gym jams on underneath, look. It's all about that's my ankle. TSC Dan.
Oh, guys, are we on 47 likes? Can we get 3 more?
If you get to 50, I'll tell you how good you are.
You know what happens when we hit 50 likes, guys? TSC's in the house tonight. Oh, Tiny, you must be lying there, mate. They're infinite.
Look at that.
Oh. Is that one of the original?
You see. Worth the injury, that one. Comes with a little stylus on the end. Got a little stylus. Yeah. You see. But that's a very good Cardiff Gold. These don't get me wrong, these are great pens. Fantastic pens.
Best in the world.
Have a germanium mint pencil. How's that?
This has turned into the pen show. 50.
No, you want the Cyber Sandman on for pen show.
True.
He's got some fantastic. No, so for argument's sake, we'll say that the best pen you can get is a Cardiff Gold pen, and that is undisputable.
It is.
is.
True facts.
Go on, buddy.
You probably, if these go in the post, you really want to be getting special delivery on these because they're really sort
Oh,
of.
yeah.
If the person sees that sticking out the package, you're not
He'll
going
have
to get
it. He will have it.
It's gone.
He will have
So
it.
let's find out
Yeah.
who's going to win that, along with some other things, and then we'll move to the final giveaway before the end. So what I'm going to do, I've got all the names. It's not many, just those that watch to the end of the video. Get this on screen as close as I can. I'm going to ask in chat just so we get no rigged comments, but as TSC will know, we'll get rigged regardless what happens. Someone in the chat, any number between 1 and 10, that's how many times I'll shuffle it. See if anyone can beat Shiny Silver today, guys. Blooming show off, says Mystery. What?
2. 2. You got to say 2, everyone.
Oh, it's always 2. There it is. Robot Toaster with 2. It's always 2. I shouldn't even ask.
Yeah, that's Cyber Salman's fault as well.
Yeah, it is. It's just
it is 100%.
Right, 1, 2. Okay, and TSC, you've been a fantastic special guest, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time tonight to come on. You are so busy, and you've made the time, and it's been really a true pleasure speaking to you. So I'd like you to take the honour with Canute there, jumping over with you. Bless him. Could you count us down from 5 and wish everyone a good luck for this Cardiff Gold giveaway, please?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Go!
Go!
Good luck, everyone. Oh, it's
and a go-karting.
It's normally 60 seconds. I forgot. It looks like
Israel's
going to take it.
Israel Coins! What a guy! What a guy! I've got to say a big hello to Israel Coins. Oh, have a bit. Oh, you couldn't hear that. That's all right. Israel Coins, proper top chap. He really is. All the way over in Israel. He sent me some fantastic bits in the past. I'm giving away some stickers that he sent over. Really, really wonderful guy. So I'm really happy to see him win that one. Well done to you there, Israel, mate.
Me too. And if I'm not wrong, Israeli Coins was actually the very fortunate member that won the quarter-ounce gold Britannia that you guys gave away. Was it last year? I'm pretty sure he won that.
He won something. It was that, yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was. It was, because he came back to me. I sent it to him, and he came back to me. I mean, I had to send it to him again.
Oh, wow.
It was some issue. There was a customs charge on it, and they never contacted him, and they just held on to it and then sent it back to me. And I was like, "Oh, great!" But then I was able to get it over to a friend of his in the UK or something like that. But we got it there eventually.
Yeah, I'd just like to say as well, for the people that said I'm not on the list, there's people that did comment on the video, but just to be clear, that was only the people that specifically commented Cardiff Gold socks. So if your name wasn't on there, it's because you didn't comment that. So well done once again to Israeli. That will be sent out to you. I don't know if you're here now, but I will get that arranged. Now, before we end, TSC, you've been very generous. How shall we arrange this giveaway that you've put on?
Well, I was hoping you'd have some sort of list of people that we could just use, but I want it to be more inclusive.
I don't use generic lists. It has to be either. I used to do on the night, but now I'll either do a magic phrase when I do giveaways, or it's mainly members only. So I have that list. But for this, it's up to you.
1 second. Give me a second.
Sorry, Shiny. It's always rigged, mate. You know how it is. But you didn't comment Cardiff Gold socks. Sorry.
Okay. Everyone, I only say it once. If you say it more than once, I'm going to disqualify you. Right? Everyone say what? Give me a word, mate. Give me a word.
Is Canute okay? That people could misspell that and go terribly wrong.
Yeah, no, yeah, a more known spelling.
Okay, what about just gold?
Little John. Everyone's got to say Little John. Everyone's got to say Little John.
Okay.
In the comments, right? Only say it once because I get really confused really easily. But if you want to be in my giveaway for a chance to win these beautiful bits of American gold and silver, put Little John in the comments now, just like 2 Legend Benson has. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh. Kicking off now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, Slowing down a bit. Give people a couple more seconds.
How many numbers are we looking like?
I'm going to have to recount in a second.
I've got the wheel ready
Right.
with at least 30.
3, 2, 1. I'm not. No, I'm doing it. You're not doing it on your wheel. How dare you?
You did, but
Guys,
be my
wheel.
guest, mate. I thought I was going to do it, so you be my guest.
I don't know what you like. Right. Okay. Right. We're done. Okay. What we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 is John Clayton. 9, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I've got 29. Between the first one I've got is True Legends down to Mick 1967. I'll count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 29. Yep.
I just counted 29 just to add that in.
Fantastic. So True Legends is duck number 1, etc., etc. But we're not even going to be doing ducks because we're going to be doing something I normally reserve only for my gold members.
Ooh.
So if people could do me a massive favor and just like be a bit light on the comment section right now, just until we find the winner, that would make my life a lot easier right now. So what am I on Osmo? Okay, so I'll put that over here, put this over here. We've got 29, haven't we? So let's go over.
Hang on, let me make you full screen, mate. Hang on, let's switch to this. Can I make you full screen? Oh no, hang on, what have I pressed here? Oh goodness me, what have I done? Thank you so much, 4006. Evening, guys. Hope you're both okay. £2 super chat. Really kind. Thank you so much.
What a guy. He's a great guy, 4006s.
Yeah.
Right then.
How I can make you full screen, mate, but never mind.
That's all right. You can see most of what matters. You can see what most of what matters. All right. Okay. Right. Okay. So we've got 29 people in there. Craven, how long are we doing this for?
45 seconds, if that's okay.
Now we've got a minute.
1 minute. Okay.
Right, Craven, because we want to keep the chat nice and clear. Craven, you give me the shuffles, please.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say 3 shuffles to make it different, mate.
3 shuffles. All right. 1, 2, 3, and there should be 29 people in there, right? If number 1 wins, True Legend, etc., 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 we go on what I can see on my screen. Okay. Craven, if you would like to give me, there's no thumbnail on screen. Get out of it. Give me a countdown from 3, and we will get this madness on the road.
Thank you, and a big, massive thank you again, guys, to TSC for doing this. I had no idea. This is very generous, and I really do appreciate it. Good luck to everyone, all 29 of you. Start the race in 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck.
Let's do this. Here we go. We have tire, frog, but lazy elephant. Oh, no. Giraffe, astronaut, watermelon is up there as well, but banana, dolphin, he's not having any of it. Bat and a bat. He's batting a bat. He's looking frisky, but gorilla fish wants some. Samurai coffee is not having any of it. Neither is coffee dancer right there. Tooting her way now to the back. Oh, we got 2 coffee dancers. Look at that. Watermelon alligator is storming ahead, but clock elephant with his flip-flops on is looking very, very strong. We have 2 cactus hippos right there. Why can't I see any numbers? I don't know what's going off right now. But Roman strawberry crow is looking strong once again as we come into the final 10 seconds. Cactus hippo is looking strong just as well. I'm not going to ask you what that cactus hippo looks like. We don't need to know. But Craven. Oh my God, Craven! Fishy pussy has taken it. Fishy pussy has taken it. What number fishy pussy is? You might ask. I don't know. It doesn't tell me. How do we know? God. We don't know. What's that?
Who is the fishy pussy then? Who is that guy?
I don't know. Nobody knows. We're gonna have to go back and try again.
Wait,
Right, let's go in names. Any name, right? Okay, we'll do that. That was practice, guys. That's what practice looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
what a treat
20.
this is. We get a second go at this. That was amazing.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. There we go. Fantastic. Here we go. Back over to the racers. Now it's the actual official race. Are we doing the same number of shuffles there, buddy?
Yeah, 3 again. I'll just quickly say.
Let's do 3 again.
Who's what number? So there's 29 comments of Little John Benson, and number 1, I believe, was True Legend, and then each number that goes down is the person, the order they will comment it in, mate, just so you know.
Right then. Yes, that is fantastic. Right, here we go. We've done the shuffles. 1 minute on the timer. Give me that countdown, and we will get this fully official, absolutely legitimate, the one race underway.
I can't wait to see Rigged in the chat, guys. Thank you, TSC. This is amazing. Good luck once again. This is the official one. Start the race in 3, 2, 1, go!
And they are off, and Fissy Pushy is going straight back to it, but Coffee Dancer is having none of it. Clock Elephant is up there, number 14, all the way. I have no idea who the last one was. Why is the point of giving no numbers? I'll just guess which number it was. I don't know. That was a farce. But going back to the all-important race right here, we have a camel fridge. We have a stone teapot. We have 2 coffee dancers. We have a watermelon zebra and a watermelon alligator, as well as a watermelon giraffe astronaut. You do not see those 3 animals in the wild together. They just do not get along. But Coffee Dancer, Gorilla Banana, and Clock Elephant are having a good old go at it. But Gorilla Fish is looking strong too. We're coming into the final 10 seconds now, guys. Bat with a bat with a bat with a bat are looking very strong. Hench Orange and Hench Orange. Well, one's looking strong, one not so much. It's Tire Frog. Tire Frog is taking it. Came out of nowhere. Tire Frog. Lucky number 13. Let's go back to the live stream. There we go. Number 1 was True Legends. Here we go. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. Is anyone's going to argue with me? I've got that 13 as Little John. Little John, CY Sterling try. I don't know where Little John came from there. CY Sterling is who I've got. Let us know. Do you agree, guys? I've got CY. True Legends 1, Benson 2, Robot Toaster 3, David James 4, Elliptic 5, Coin 6, Crispy Shiny 7, Ian Ritchie 8, Electric 9, Northeast Coins 10, Bjorn 11, John Clayton 12, and CY Sterling 13. There we go, mate. There we go.
Wow.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Mate, that was quite something. But it's always, when you do that, I don't know how you're still speaking. I'd need to stop to catch. I'd probably need my inhaler, to be honest, mate. Very impressive. I can see why you used to commentate on it. That was a joy to watch. And guys, we got it twice tonight. Yeah, I haven't seen one rigged in the chat. Surely that's a record.
There we go. There we go. It's going to start coming through now. I tell you. Well done, CY. Absolutely well done, CY. Fixed and fixed, lol, says Mystery. Rigged, says Glasgow. I told you they'd come through now.
There it is.
There we go. Yeah, they were all just stored. They were waiting to get in.
That's
I don't know. Come and say goodbye. Come and say goodbye.
CY Sterling, mate. That's really, really nice.
Nice.
From you. Yeah.
CY, buy something on Monday. Buy something on Monday so I don't have to pay any postage.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, you know where to go, guys, on a Monday at 6 p.m. I want to just say, TSC, as we do also say goodbye to Canute. It's been lovely having you both on. It's been too long. Tonight has been a pleasure for me. I hope you've enjoyed it too. And everyone in the live chat, I hope you've enjoyed tonight as much as I have being a part of this and hosting it. Yeah, thank you so much, mate. Keep doing everything that you are doing. Keep up the great work. And it'll be fantastic to see what you do next. Hopefully you get a little bit more time on your hands. I don't know if you will, but hopefully you do, to do some stuff that you enjoy, as you mentioned, some fishing, stuff like that. a couple of things. Could I ask you? I didn't have one from last week because I've been doing a few different types of episodes. But as a tradition, I always ask the special guest at the end for a question for next week's special guest. This can be anything in the world. You could ask a really weird conspiracy question. You could ask, what's your favorite color? Anything at all. What can I ask next week's guest, mate, from you?
Oh, put me on the spot, much.
That's how we like it here.
Given that gold has been the standard of wealth for all of time, what do you think the price of fish and chips will be in 3 months' time?
I knew there'd be something good. That is literally what I will ask at the start of next week's show. Wow. Yeah, thank you so much again, mate. It really
do you want a serious question or?
No, I'm quite happy with that. See what they say. That's it. Unless you want to change it, I will ask that.
It's how we roll. No, it's how we roll, isn't it?
That's it. Question from TSC.
Yeah.
Mate, any last words from yourself to the live audience who have stuck around for 2.5 hours tonight? It's been amazing. Any last words?
I've had a lot of fun. Thank you very much for inviting me across. Do continue to check out Craven's live streams every Sunday. These are a lot of fun, but also come and check out mine on Saturday if you fancy as well. We try and have fun over there as well. And also, go on, if you're not already, get yourself over to Stackers Social. It's a fantastic community of people. As Craven mentioned earlier on today, we have just announced 5,000 members, which is incredible. It really is. And a little announcement, which Cyber Soundman has been working on and has put out, is there's going to be a few giveaways coming very, very soon. So no better time has there been to come on over and become a member of Stackers Social. Other than that, look after each other, keep stacking, stay safe, and goodbye, or whatever I do. What is it? Keep stacking, take care, goodbye. That's it.
Thank you. Spot on. Wise words. Well said. It's been a pleasure. Guys, that is it for episode 43. They're coming thicker and faster. It's flying by. I hope all of you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, what's left. Go and have a great week. I hope you take some great momentum into next week. Go and smash your goals. Do what you got to do. Keep stacking and stay safe and be kind. And on that note, thank you for watching this evening. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye, everyone. Take care.
Take care, all. Bye-bye.